good, to be honest.
Wow. No, I
I think
think he's a
Russell was on
player.
he was on a really good team, and he got paid, and things collapsed around him, and as those players left, and you saw that, oh, maybe Russ just isn't all that great.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never been
You have a different memory of this cat. I think that Super Bowl was his, baby. He
oh,
carried him. It
stop.
was. Don't give me Skittles.
Dude,
That was quarterback movement.
his defense had a
Oh
name.
yes, but that's
The-
every Super Bowl champ.
No, if your defense has a name, there's a reason, they're like,
You got to capitalize on that on the ball. You got to capitalize on the turnovers. You got to score, and he did it on his own. He wasn't given a whole lot early. He had a fullback and a bunch of little wide receivers. I'm not going to go all the way out on what Russell was. Now I'm not going to say that he was what he believed he was.
Russell's also a giant cornball, which makes things like.
Yeah, his persona grew to something so ridiculous that I think it kind of clouded the kind of guy. He thought he was better than he was, and he was only pretty good.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Who says that out loud? Seriously. And it's not like he thought of that on the fly. He was like thinking of that for a while.
Oh yeah, he and what's his girlfriend's name? His wife,
Ciara,
tweeting from the beds and all. Dude, yeah.
She's like, it'd be real cool if you said Broncos country, let's ride.
Wow, that could be a song
and
or
a
slogan.
Russ is like, what? That's brilliant, babe. And he knew it wasn't brilliant, but he's whipped and he has to just say it. And she's like, or he didn't say anything. She's like, well, are you going to say anything? And he's like, yeah, that was awesome. I'm going to use that.
Can I tweet it? Oh, no, I have to say it. Okay.
And then he's going to after his first win, he's going to be like, he's going to tweet out, Steele got it. And that's on her too. Or
I think Tomlin's a little bit different.
Or it's going to be Steelers country. Let's weld. Like it's going to be something like that.
That was actually pretty genius. Well, I think we might need to write that down. I don't want to let that pass. It's Steelers company. Let's weld. Yeah. I think there's a T-shirt in there. Guys on Hildebrand, Calabria, did you hear this?
Just throwing that out there, guys.
Let's weld.
Throwing it out there.
We can get the trademark done in about a week.
It sounds good to me.
I think TM.
Something tells me Steelers. I don't know if Steelers fans are buying into.
Let's weld.
I don't even know who the who the starter is. Like I don't know if they know who the starter is.
Oh, it's Russell for the time.
You think so?
Oh yeah, he's an excellent security blanket.
Boy, it feels like if Russell's your guy, you're really. And I know they've like in this is one of the crazier things in the NFL. In Mike Tomlin's career, he's never finished below 500, which is like that's really impressive. I feel like if you're starting Russell Wilson, you're only doing it because you want that streak to continue, not because you think he gives you a chance to actually do something.
I think there's still gas in the tank, but we all know the heir apparent's in the building. It's just there's no way Russell finishes the season as the starter unless they are a 12-win football team, But once there's a falter, the dude's sitting on the bench. That's why I think Pittsburgh's going to have a pretty good year because Russell's going to play like a man that's got no other choice. And
that's because he doesn't. Well, that was Baker Mayfield last year.
Yeah, and look where they go. So I like those kind of guys.
Maybe so. Maybe I'm just a hater.
Well, they're like the Clint Eastwoods. They got nothing to lose. It's a man with nothing to lose.
Russell Wilson and Caitlin Clark. They both remind me of Clint Eastwood. That's what I've always said. Is those two guys were
a woman with nothing to lose.
Yeah. She's coming from
Badlands of Indiana,
from Iowa, where she's from. She's a stranger in a new land.
She's from parts unknown.
I like to say she's a stranger in a new land.
Indiana
a
new land,
strange land
from parts unknown.
I'm sure it's all going to work out for her.
Nothing to lose.
Do they
go jumpers?
She have a game tonight?
No, she's played like 4 in a row. They're running out of TV time.
Damn it!
They don't want to compete against the NBA. They snuck her in last night, and they've actually played pretty good.
Well, you know what we did have? We had a good NBA game last night.
Well, it was a good, poorly played game. How's that?
Yes, but it was a competitive game. When's the last time we had one of those?
The night before. But let's not quibble. 2 nights before.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that game.
That was a good game. I don't want to denigrate what was an extraordinary basketball game that kept me up way past my bedtime.
Overtime. The overcashed before overtime he was even needed, although it sure didn't look like we were going to have overtime when the Pacers just decided we're not going to start the game on time. So we'll get into that game quite a bit. I think there's a lot of stuff to dig into on that game. Mostly because it's I think this game may have decided the series in that had it gone one way, I think there would have been life, and because it went the other way, I think that life force may have been drained. I'm not sure the Pacers can come up with another effort quite like that, but we'll see.
They can get one.
We'll see what they can do. Fun show today planned for you fellas out there and you ladies. I know there are some ladies out there. We are amongst our topics today. Victor Wembanyama, who did something that has never been done in the history of time.
Which you would have thought had been, quite frankly.
I would have thought.
Here in town, we would have thought it might have been the second time. The third time. We had another all rookie, all defensive dude way back when who's done a little time in Huskow and Alvin Robertson. It could have been the fourth time that this had happened, but it was only the first.
What's up with these Spurs players? They're either really clean cut or they're just wild animals.
Well, Pop has a type just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Most of those guys were pre-Pop though.
You think he knew about
Steven Jackson was a necessary evil, along with Mario Ellie. The guys that lived on the edge, they were here to be on the edge.
That's true. But do you think the cat they drafted that it was pulling his crank out? Why can't I think of his name?
Number 11 Primo, Josh
Primo, yeah. You think he knew?
Oh, we knew. We've come to find out from other sources over the years, over the last couple. I ran into somebody, I'm not going to talk about who was here at the time, who had talked with somebody inside that had gotten calls even while he was at Alabama, and that there had been some incidents even prior to that. And there'd been some occurrences inside the league in other cities that had been reported. So there's a reason why the Spurs settled as fast as they did and got everything fixed, because they were culpable and appears even liable for some of the stuff that went down.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. And that dude.
That's all alleged, of course. I don't know for a fact. It's hearsay, but it does appear that by their actions that this was an ongoing issue that they were aware of long before that we thought they were or they claimed it to be.
And he's he's out of the league completely now,
yeah,
right?
the Clippers gave him a shot. He even suited up and played in the show for a couple games, but you can't have this cat running around. I mean, you got a player that when he arrives in a city has to go announce himself to the neighborhood like, oh, by the way, I'm here for the next 48 hours. I'm a registered sex offender. No, that's not going to fly.
Did he have to be a registered sex offender?
No, I don't think there was any convictions. Again, all alleged, but that's just not going to fly in this day and age.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's not good enough. If he was better, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Then we can rehab.
Then you're allowed to pull your crank out.
If he was just a rapist and did it in Colorado and had enough money to buy a big diamond and go on and change his number in life, that would be a whole different story. But
yeah,
he's just not good enough.
He was just a so-so guy.
If he was a better talent, we could make excuses for him.
Yeah, but I mean, listen. What I read was he had some childhood trauma. So
of course, that's the first thing we all have.
And every time I think about the worst things that happened to me in my life, it makes me just want to pull my pants down.
Well, if you got something to show off.
Well,
I need
obviously
to bring the
he
Lakers
did.
girls down a notch or two.
Obviously, he did.
Growing up, we called it hanging brain, AJ.
Is that what you called it?
Yeah, I think you're just out there hanging brain.
I never called it that, but that's
You never hung brain?
Well, I have, but that's what I'm going to call it from now on. By the way,
that's a mental image you're never going to get rid of.
No, I'm not.
And everybody's welcome on this Wednesday afternoon.
All right, on this hump day to hang some brain.
And go hang some brain, but do it in the privacy of your own home, or amongst consenting adults,
or at work.
Again, amongst consenting adults in the privacy of your own locked door office.
Yeah, but not with. You know what's funny is,
I don't know where we're going to find humor here, but I'm eager.
Like Josh Primo was probably looking at Deshaun Watson thinking, I'm about to get all guaranteed money. The rest of my contract is going to...
See, there's a big difference because Josh never assumed the happy baby pose.
That's true.
Once you achieve the happy baby...
Show me.
I'd like to, but you don't have the proper oils.
I hope you guys are watching YouTube. Rob's doing it right now.
Yeah, it is.
It looks good.
Well, see,
all right, relax.
Yep,
relax.
I got it up like this.
Rob's gonna hurt himself.
That's not easy to do. That's next level. I'm like a third level pilates guy.
I think it's Pilates.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You look like a yogi.
Bara?
You do look you look like one of those guys who starts a yoga and then like it really turns out
it's a sex cult.
It's a sex cult. Yeah.
So here,
you look like one of those guys.
I need you, and you to come back. We need to work on your form.
You actually do look like one of those guys now that I think about it.
Inner diameter slope needs a little bit of expansion, if you know what I mean.
I think that's why you always wear your top button because I think you've got like
rippling flesh underneath.
Yeah, and like such an extremely hairy chest that it's like most people would think that's not normal.
I have it braided with beads.
Yes, if you're
I can't even fly.
If you're a sex cult yogi, that's normal.
I've been a member. You have more fun. You make more money as a leader.
That's what I hear.
Mean, it's more
you
fun
also get
as
more
a member,
sex.
But as a member, you have a lot. But as a leader, there's a little bit more responsibility, but there's more money.
When you're a member of a sex cult, you only have sex with one person.
At a time. It's according to Rob's law, as we have it in the manual.
When you lead the sex cult, you can have sex with everybody.
Well, at the same time. That's also part of
that's what
Rob's
you want.
manual.
But you have to figure out a yoga trend.
We're going to have to assume the position.
Maybe like I don't know. What's something fun to do while you do yoga? Like they've already created sauna yoga and goat yoga. Like
we do guinea pig yoga.
Okay. And what
can't. You have to. That's next level stuff.
Do you do it on wood chips?
I would like to tell you about it, but I'm going to need a little bit of money. I'm going to need your account information and any retirement funds that you have in place, and then we'll take you to the next level, and you'll too meet the guinea pigs.
All right.
But first, you'll be a gerbil in our.
I can't wait
in our cult.
All right, let's hit a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this Celtics Pacers game, and I'm going to ask you if you think the Pacers, if this was the kind of almost game that just deflates you and you can't come back from. We'll talk about that on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How you feel this morning? Did you wake up, step on the scale, and let's go? I hope so. If you have been in a quest to lose some weight, I want you to listen because so many of us fail trying. You know, you get on the internet, you read some books, you find this new fad thing, you see some star doing it, you give it a shot. And no more often than not, it works at first. You find out that after a while, you can't sustain it, nor do you want to. And you kind of yo-yo back before you know it, you weigh more than you began. That was me for a long time. In fact, I'd given up on dieting. And I met Dr. Jacob Torres about 8 years ago, and he explained to me that a diet is indeed a 4-letter word. If you're going to go where you need to be, I got to teach you how to live a life that doesn't use that 4-letter word. He changed my life. He did something that I didn't think would be possible. He got me to buy in. He coached me. He scolded me. He did all that was required to get me on the course that got me where I am now. I'm down 70 pounds or so. I weigh less today than I did at the turn of the century. I hate saying that, but that is in fact the case. If it's time for you to lose weight, I want you to write this number down. It's 210-468-1891 for the Institute of Functional Health and Dr. Jacob Torres. He changed my life. I am firmly convinced I'm going to live longer. I'm certainly happier. I sleep better. I got more energy and all the things that go along with weight loss. If you want it, call that number. Let him explain to you why he's been so successful. Go to the website. It's a great, great tool. Use it. Do your due diligence. It's iffhealth.com. Take the functional health test. I think it'll open your eyes. Listen to me close. If it's time for you to lose weight, if doctors are telling you, or you're tired of looking into that wide body mirror, call the number today, the Institute for Functional Health. It'll change your life. I'm sure you'll thank me later.
The Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio.
Steps left, three, bang, 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 bang. Luka Doncic.
The Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves go head-to-head in Game 1.
If we continue to play Timberwolves basketball, it will fix a lot of problems that we may have with that team and what they do best. So I like our chances.
Game 1 of the Mavericks and Timberwolves.
Tonight, starting at 7, right here on your home for the NBA playoffs, 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
Celebrate Memorial Day weekend at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 50% bonus trade-in on all new clubs. Buy any 2 apparel items and receive a 3rd free. And save big on shoes, bags, carts, and travel covers. The more you buy, the more you save. Shop with us this Memorial Day weekend, in-store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696 to learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
You want another way to add excitement to watching the NBA playoffs? Jason Minix here. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It is a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports, especially playing the pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. It is fantasy and it is legal in Texas. So get started by going to the easy-to-use Underdog Fantasy mobile app or go to the website underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up using my promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com.
Get the last water softener you'll ever own and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Visit KineticoSA.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hey now, 6:22 on the Morning Huddle here, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Welcome in. Welcome in all you out there listening on your radios. Welcome in those of you watching on the YouTubes. Welcome in those of you who are finding new ways to hear us. And welcome to the homeless guy sleeping in Rob's car outside. because he left his window open.
Hey, that was to warn you. You'd have suffered the wrath.
I know, but you could have.
I know. I'm half asleep.
You know what? By the way,
close the car door.
I swear, this guy Shelton he's trying to start a fight with me.
He tries to start a fight with everybody. You're no different than anybody else.
He didn't tell me. He didn't email me.
Well, I don't think you've been added to the all list. I think you're still like in probation. I don't know. You should have gotten it. I checked to see the email, and it was sent to all.
Sent to everybody who works in the building.
All that aren't on probation.
Except me.
It appears that way. I'm trying to. This arrived last. It doesn't say the time. Oh, well, no, it was 3:47, dude. It was during the day, and it was sent to San Antonio all staff. I don't know how to break it to you, AJ. Have you unpacked yet?
No. I did get my apartment.
I hope you didn't sign anything.
No, it's already signed.
Can we null like this, like a wedding? Like you didn't? Have you slept in the room yet?
No.
So you haven't really christened.
Well, because I don't have a bed.
See, maybe because of that, we'll be able to annul that with the apartment.
Next week,
the Pope of Apartments might.
Well, I already signed up for the internet. I'll live there. I'll camp there. Is what I'll do.
Well, I mean, you didn't make the San Antonio all list yet. But
I'm not going to pay rent. I'm just going to.
Well, you can squat.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There's a deadbolt on the inside that you can't open.
Well,
like you can only open from the inside. Like how are they going to get me out?
It's kind of a gray area now. I'm not even sure they can.
I'm going to blame COVID.
I'd blame a lot of stuff on COVID.
The Celtics get an overtime win against Indiana, and man, this is one. It's the one that got away, Rob. The one that got away.
It is the one that got away, but the better team won.
Well, I mean, yes, the better team won, but I don't think that they played better yesterday. Like if you go down statistically, the Pacers shot 54%, the Celtics shot 48%.
How many rebounds? Second balance that out.
44-43. Pacers out rebounded them. I mean, statistically,
what's home worth? Home's worth 3 points in my mind.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, it depends. Right, but yeah, this was. It's funny because in a game where. Or in a series, a postseason where the Pacers have kind of played like ass the first game of every series, and Tyrese Halliburton mentioned that in the post-game presser after the game. They played pretty well. They just had some really, really poorly timed bonehead mistakes.
Can you fix the unforced errors like that overnight?
I think so.
Okay.
But. Man, I really also think that when you lose a game that you had in your hands, and there was a point in this game, like a minute and 10 seconds left, they're up 5 with the ball. You're not supposed to lose those games.
Yeah, but this is a young team that we're going to ask to grow up overnight. They've had turnover issues all season. This is who they are. This isn't something that's a kind of an aberration.
No, you're right.
They move the ball, and for 20 seconds, it's a beautiful game, and they go from good to better as anybody in the league. But they're dumb, and they're not going to get smart overnight. This is the kind of loss last night that they're going to wake up 20 years from now and go, "Oh, it was right there, but I'm an idiot. It was right there, but I stretched. I was right there, but I made a bad inbound pass. I was right there, but I dribbled it off my knee." That's the kind of thing you never get over, ever.
I also think the fact that they started this game in a 12-0 hole, and then they worked their way back. It was tied at halftime. They took a 1-point lead finally. About 4 or 5 minutes into the third quarter, they were up 75-74. And it's like, oh, finally, all the way back. And then next thing you know, it was 92-79. It was like an 18-4 run. It's like, how they just couldn't get it together. And then at the end, when you lose the way that they did, losing in overtime, like the fact that the game went to overtime on and you know what, we'll talk about this more, but the decision not to foul late and the decision to let Tatum take that shot. I don't, or not Tatum, to Jaylen Brown to take that shot. The decision to, the play call that was drawn up that gave them the turnover, that gave Jaylen Brown that opportunity. There's a lot that goes into this that we'll talk about more. But there's a lot of hoops to talk today, including another game one tonight in a series that I do expect to be pretty competitive. We'll talk about that and more. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it is day 2 of OTAs for the Dallas Cowboys. You think maybe CD or Micah might show up for day 2?
No, it's still voluntary.
Come on.
We'll talk about game 1 of the Western Conference Finals that gets underway tonight. React to what we saw in the East Finals. Plus, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Magical Orlando Family Vacation Contest is a company-wide contest for your chance to win 4 tickets to Disney World. No purchase necessary to enter or win. One winner will be chosen at the end of the contest. Contest is only open to U.S. residents 18 years or older. Contest is sponsored by participating Alpha Media stations, audience or their parent, subsidiary, and affiliate entities, Alpha or audience employees, advertising agencies, promotional partners, and members of families or households are not eligible to enter or win. Odds of winning depend on the number of entries received. Contest is subject to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Void where prohibited. Participants must sign all contest release and waiver forms to be eligible to win the prize. The contest begins Monday, May 20th and runs through Friday, June 7th. To enter, you must fill out the designated form on our website at sasportstar.com. Contest sponsors are not responsible for technical failures or malfunctions of any kind. For full contest rules, please visit sasportstar.com. Decisions of station management with respect to the contest are final.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin would finally be safe.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized with help from Beacon. I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Get ready, San Antonio. Baseball Express and Team Express are hosting the event of the season. Stop by 1003 East Nakoma for a chance to pop a balloon and get up to 100% off your purchase, up to $500. Only 250 balloons are available, so come early. Baseball Express and Team Express have gear for every sport, team uniforms, and top brand apparel. Clearance items up to 60% off. Use code CTE10 for an extra 10% off. Team Express, all sports, all the time. Visit teamexpress.com for more details.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Gonna feel a puff of air.
Jones Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 22121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. To have payment plans, call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. You know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagle, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Vic created this beat. He's the Mexican Kanye. I'd work on the ending if I were you, Vic. I'd maybe
you gonna take credit for this?
Yeah, maybe reconsider how you finish that thing off. I don't know. All right, we are back on the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. I'd venture to say this is the best morning show on the station. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing. And
go to our YouTube feed. We get graded on this. Go find us. Go to YouTube, San Antonio Sports Star. Like and make sure you are subscribed.
Like and subscribe. That's right.
That way you can participate in ticket giveaways as we do on a regular basis.
Do you think Rick Carlisle feels the way I feel? Like, man, you can't let games like that get away from you.
Everybody, man. The thing is, you woke up and you're going to be mad, but they didn't go rogue. That's who the Pacers were. They got the buckets they wanted. They went from better to best. They were stupid a lot of the times, but that's who the Pacers are. And that's what Carlisle should wake up and go, well, we're going to have to be something different because we were who we are last night. There was nothing special about what they did. They did what Pacers do. They just didn't manage to outscore the Celtics.
I wonder if Rick Carlisle is happy with the game that Halliburton played, because I said this to you before the show. It felt like the worst good game ever. And I can't really tell if it was a good game or an awful game. I'm not sure how Halliburton played. There were moments where I was like, man, what a game. And then other moments were like, what is he doing?
He's a young brother going against Drew Holiday, Derek White. I'm going to give him the benefit. He had a tremendous game going against two of the top defenders in the NBA, two of them that he's having to go through. And then after that, he's dealing with a front line that's not extraordinary, but athletic. I I'm going to give him every benefit. I think he's having an extraordinary game, just playing like a 23-year-old who's in uncharted waters. I mean, they're not where they were but for him.
I mean, yeah, there's no real arguing with that. Maybe
he'll get better.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll get better.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah.
And I like him as a player. Like, I think he's legitimately very, very good. I do legitimately think he traveled, but that's neither here nor there.
It's a Euro jump side step.
It's
three,
a Euro
set
shuffle.
shot.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's unique.
It's hard to travel doing a set shot, but I think he does.
I think he does. I really do. It just felt like one of those games where had the Pacers won that, I'd say, man, they're alive in this series. But because they lost, and it felt like that was the best effort they could have given.
That's what's scary.
And let's face it, they were 10-point dogs in that game.
If I'm Rick Carlisle, I wake up and go, how do I keep Miles Turner involved? I got to get him more involved in the fourth. What was
Is
working?
that what you want?
Well, yes, absolutely I do. Look at how they came back. Look at the second quarter where they made their run.
Point.
Turner became that hub. Now, it wasn't all his buckets, but he became that center point where everybody had to face the gravity that he provided. He had the ball in his hands. You had to pay attention to him, and that allowed for a lot of things to kind of get. It certainly allowed Nimhard to get going. I think that if I'm Carlisle, the one thing I can take away from last night, other than stop being stupid, is maybe getting Miles Turner a little bit more involved later in the game. Other than that, just keep doing what you're doing and stop being stupid, because it was working. You got the buckets you wanted. You got the lanes you were chasing. Everything you wanted to do offensively was there. We're not going to play defense. I'm just decided we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not going to do that. So stop being stupid, and you might get a game. But it still looks more like a gentleman's sweep than it did.
I think the other guy that they need more out of is Pascal Siakam. Like I think that when you bring in a guy on a young team and you say, okay, this is the guy we're going to put in the middle of this young team and kind of, I mean, hell, we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks with who the ideal guy would be to put with this Spurs team to help them kind of grow up. And it's obvious the Pacers said Siakam is going to help us grow up.
And it's unfortunate that he's there to be their anchor, not to be the dude making mistakes. I mean, that there's one thing you can't do, Pascal, is you're supposed to be the guy they're all mimicking. You're supposed to model what it looks like and acts like to be a champion.
And he took a couple poor shots late. I mean, early in the shot clock, bad shots. I thought that he struggled down the stretch in a way that, you're not going to be able to. You can't make this many mistakes against a team that's way more talented than you. And the truth of it is the Celtics are they're better. They have better players than the Pacers.
Now, I got a question. You are Finch wheeling your broke ass around with your bad knee, or your kid, and you watched game last night. Are you more worried or less if you win it?
I'm less worried.
I am too.
I mean, these Celtics are so much more vulnerable than people think.
They're soft. They're just soft, and they're not going to get over it.
And I know that there's people who are going to be like, oh, well, look at the shot that Jaylen Brown made to send it to OT. Look at the shot that Jason Tatum made in OT. And those were nice moments. But I don't know, man. I don't see them as being this great team. I think that they are very, very vulnerable. And they've just happened to play in an Eastern Conference where the red carpet's been rolled out for them to win.
Have you ever heard the analogy between being a thermometer and a thermostat?
No.
There are guys that are thermometers that will tell you what temperature it is. And then there are people that will set the temperature, that'll either raise the temperature or lower it depending on their altitude. The Celtics are thermometers. They're going to play to the temperature that it is. And they're going to have to find somebody on that team, a thermostat, that's going to have to elevate their play, because you can't play equal to the Pacers. That's why I think we keep watching this thinking, they got a puncher's chance here. I mean, if they make their baskets and they don't do anything stupid, they win last night. And that was the game that we all circled, said, if you're going to get one, it's going to be that one. And you were down 0-12. I mean, there's so many little questions. You go, if you can just get the stupid stuff out of the way, you'll be competitive. But I don't think they can grow out of it over 3 days.
There was one thing that Jaylen Brown said at the end of the game that kind of made me think, well, maybe he can be that guy. We'll talk about that on the other side. This is Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
In lieu of flowers, donate to Dogs That Care.
There's somebody somewhere putting together a website right now. Dog That Cares.
Have you ever escaped the backyard, gone over to the neighbor's place, killed every chicken they had? I have. I'm a dog who cares.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks fantasy. You're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Victor Wembanyama made history yesterday as he became the first ever. Can you believe that? The first ever rookie to make first team all defensive team.
When you think of like Shaq and I guess Russell, that's before they, had communication and paper. But
yeah.
I mean, Yao Ming, there's been a lot of bigs, a lot of guys that have come in that you'd have thought, what, David?
But first team, yeah.
Patrick Ewing.
Akeem surprised me. And I know that Akeem, David, and Duncan were all second team as rookies.
And then when you look at who was playing when they were there, you go, well, it makes some sense that they didn't actually get it.
And it also, I mean, remember back then, they were very strict about there was one center.
Right.
There was a
true center.
There was a power forward. There was a small forward. Now it's like there's front court and then there's back court. Maybe we'll have 3 and 2. Maybe we'll have 2 and 3. You never know. But keep in mind, if the NBA said, like, if the writers decided they were going to vote on Wemby as a center, he wouldn't have been first team All NBA this year. Back in when they voted in those days, when they could only have one center
now
on the
it's
first
a big
team.
Guy or a little guy.
Yeah, and you can have 3 bigs or 3 littles, and then 2 bigs or 2 littles. But because the defensive player of the year, and they listed them both as centers, is what I saw.
And just because you're tall doesn't make you a center.
I agree. I don't consider Wemby a center, and I know that like there's some people who think that he got unlocked when he became the center last year. From my understanding, he's not interested in being a center in the NBA, and this is maybe gonna surprise some people. Players have a lot of say on what, especially guys who, like Wemby, have this organization in the palm of their hand, where it's like, yeah, you're going to do what I want because I'm going to have a decision to make. And I think I know what decision you'd like me to make. You want any hope of that happening? You're going to play my game, bud.
I'll tell you, Pop lied to Tim for 20 years. Because Pop always, and we have always said that Tim is the greatest power forward ever to play the game. Tim was a center. Tim played post. If you go back and look at what he did and how he did it, he was a center. We just called him a power forward because that's what he wanted to be called.
But Tim was a power forward on defense
to some extent, but he guarded a lot of 5s, man. He guarded a lot of 5s over the years. The way you define it, and when he got here, David wanted to be a power forward and Tim wanted to be a power forward. So we just said, well, David, guess what? You're a center today, and Tim, you're a power forward, and tomorrow you're a center. And it just got this narrative that he was something that he's not. And he was at the same time. Wemby is a defensive 5. There's no question that he's going to be in the paint, but offensively, he is so far from being a 5.
He's more of a 3.
Yes,
if anything.
That's what he wants. Go watch the video. Find me another 5 that does a sham god and a spin reverse layup. The dude is a 3. Now we can call him whatever the hell we want, but he's a 3.
Yeah. Well, the NBA counted him as a 5.
He's a big guy.
But it didn't matter because now it's not as cut and dry as like you can only have one center on the all defensive team. The question is going to be now, where does it stop? And I want to get into this a little bit later. And in fact, we'll do it at 8:00. I want to get your thoughts on Wemby's chances to become an all NBA player first team. And the last time there was an all NBA first team, an all NBA player, any first, second, or third team as a rookie was Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. Wemby has a chance. I'm gonna ask your opinion and see if you think that happens or not. We also are going to give away more opportunities to go to ACL Fest. We now have 6 count them, 6 people registered, and we will do 9 more over the course of the week at 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30 throughout our show. And somebody is they're going to win 3-day wristbands to week 2 of ACL. We gave away a pair last week. We're going to do it again this week. And if you don't win, you can always buy them at aclfest.com. But hopefully you'll just win them here, and it's a moot point.
It's a lot of money.
It's
worth a lot of money.
Boy, isn't it? All right. Hour number 1 is in the books. Hour number 2, I want to start out with this. The ESPN broadcast from last night and why Jeff Van Gundy is not a part of these ESPN broadcasts. And I think this is maybe one. ESPN is already kind of a shaky product, in my opinion, for the NBA. They are doing themselves no favors here. The NBA doesn't seem to be doing them any favors. I don't think the NBA is doing itself favors now that the rumors are kind of flying around about why Jeff Van Gundy was not on the call yesterday. This is a fascinating story that I don't know that it's finished. And I think now that it's going to be kind of made public, there may be some walk back made by the NBA. We'll talk about that next. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heavener, or online at TriCountyMeat.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
Silence is golden, especially when it comes to brakes. That's why Napa Silent Guard are built to be one of the smoothest and most quiet brakes on the market. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad, rubber-coated hardware for a better fit, and quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power drivers demand. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Set your alarm. Memorial Day doorbusters are here at Lowe's. Save big on a Master Forge 3-burner gas grill for just $99. Plus, save over $500 on a Whirlpool top-load laundry pair, now only $896. Beat the rush for these limited time deals before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/27. Appliance offer valid on items 782472 and 670009. Price includes all discounts while supplies last.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs continue as the Boston Celtics escape in an overtime win versus the Indiana Pacers in Game 1, 133-128. The Western Conference Finals start tonight. Luka Doncic and the Mavs head to Minnesota to take on Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Tip-off set for 7:30. It's a game you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Pre-game starting at 7. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning. Rob with his cucumber drink.
I have my pinky out.
I hate cucumbers.
Yeah, I offered you one this morning. I mean, you took great umbrage to my cucumber drink.
I mean,
I found that astounding. What is wrong with the healthy little bit of cucumber
I
in your
do
drink?
not like cucumber. I don't like the way it smells. It's an overpowering taste.
It is definitely there. Overpowering is kind of a broad.
I don't like it.
Are you down with the kale? You down with the leafy greens of any sort?
Listen, as someone I used to drink these green drinks
to help you poop.
Well, yeah, but so when I was fighting, I fought at a weight that was significantly lower than my walking around weight, and it was a lot of work. Like, what cutting weight is the hardest part.
That's
of
why
fighting.
Most fighters quit. They just cutting weight.
It got me.
Yeah.
So, well, just for reference, I eventually, so I fought my first 4 fights at 185 pounds, and my walk around weight was probably about 225, 226.
So, what would you actually fight at when you were at 185 on Friday or whatever? What would you weigh when you walked into the ring?
I would weigh in at 185, and by the time I got in the cage, I was about 208.
Yeah.
That's
ridiculous. 23 pounds of water.
It is ridiculous.
That's just not a healthy way to live.
But then one time, like after I had my first 4 fights, I fought him at 185 pounds. My 5th fight was the guy that I was supposed to fight pulled out of the fight like 2 days before. And, when you're an amateur fighter, you sell a bunch of tickets, and like I had sponsors.
So you got to fight.
I
got to fight
and
somebody.
They were like, well, we've got another guy you can fight. And I was 4-0 as an amateur, and they said, we've got this guy you can fight. He's also 4-0, and he had 4 knockouts. And they were like,
we're hoping he gets paroled in time.
They were like, he's fighting at 205. So do you want to fight at 205? And I was like, you know what?
But that's 20 pounds of wet weight. I mean, that's a big dude.
Yes. But in my mind, I was like, everybody's been saying I should probably fight at 205 anyway. I said, you know what?
But you don't walk around.
Just do it. I said, let's do it. I said, it'll keep me from having to get in the sauna. I'm not going to have a real hard weight cut. This will be good. So I fought, and that's the fight that I lost. My ACL blew out in the first round, and everybody was like, yo, this dude hit so hard. And we started fighting, and I was like, this guy doesn't hit that hard. This is not that big of a deal. And then my ACL blew, and he was hitting me while I was on the ground. I was like, oh my God, this guy hits so freaking hard. Everything changed. But then my last fight, I got offered the fight, and he was like, do you want to fight at heavyweight? And I was like, yeah, let's just fight at heavyweight. And and I'll be honest, it was like the best fight camp I ever had, because
you didn't have to worry.
I didn't have to drink a stupid green drink. There's nothing worse than like burning 3,000 calories and then drinking this disgusting green drink made of spinach and kale and cucumber, and then pretending like you're full and like, oh yeah, that'll be fine, and I'll just show up tomorrow and do it again.
That's why you guys are so freaking mad by the time you hit the ring. You've been like a cage.
You're filled with hate.
Yeah, filled with hate and venom
for green vegetables.
Yeah. That's all you can do not to poop.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's part of why I don't eat cucumber, because I had to eat it.
I guess I get
every day.
More for me.
Yeah, more for you. They often mix cucumber with lime, and I'm not sure how they pair together.
But things in the world. Throw some shrimp in there, a little bit of ceviche.
Shrimp,
little ceviche, some lime, some cucumber.
Cucumber just ruins stuff.
Little tajin up on the top. Lord have mercy.
I think it's tahine.
No, I'm white.
Yeah, I don't think it's tajin.
I'm Jero.
Yeah, tahine, right, Vic? Yeah, he says yeah.
Tajin.
ESPN last night, you may have noticed, and I know Twitter noticed, that Doris Burke was on the call last night.
Y'all get off my lady Doris. Stop getting on Doris. Doris is doing a fine job.
You know what? I'm going to side with Twitter here. I think Doris Burke, I think she sucks.
Obvious as well as anyone, but she does it in an octave higher than we're unaccustomed to.
A half octave.
Well, she does have a smoker voice.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with Doris. She doesn't add a whole lot, but she doesn't take away either. I'm not mad at her.
Nothing.
I'm not mad at Doris.
And to be quite honest, the fact that Jeff Van Gundy wasn't there.
That's not her fault, though.
No, but at some point, it's like if let's say you're a rich guy, Rob, which
Well, I know a few.
Yeah,
I've been in the same room with one.
And let's say you've got a personal chef, and he's cooking you the finest meals in the world, 7 days a week.
Go on.
And he murders someone, and now he's gone.
Well,
and while he's gone, they say, well, we've got another chef who's going to fill in, and it's Ronald McDonald, and he's like giving you chicken nuggets and double cheeseburgers.
Passable, but that's not what I want.
Right. Like, so it's suddenly you don't want to blame Ronald McDonald for not being your personal chef, but at some point you get frustrated that it's like, dude, this burger
Doris
sucks.
To no redheaded clown.
She's
Come
Ronald
on,
McDonald.
she's no redheaded clown. She is a fine broadcaster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a fine broad. I was like, oh,
well, I think she would agree.
We've got different tastes, but okay.
I think Miss Doris Burke would say I'm a fine broad. I think she would drink a scotch with you. Say I'm a fine broad.
I don't think she's good, but again,
personal taste. But I agree with Twitter. I think Twitter is right, and we finally have something to latch onto with Adam Silver. There is a problem with the NBA.
So Jeff Van Gundy gone. I don't understand why they decided that Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson had to go. But now that, and at the time I thought, okay, maybe this was just like one of the regular layoff things, but there's no way I think this is all becoming more in the light now that we're talking about maybe losing inside the NBA.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But he was the best guy, I think, that wasn't involved with TNT.
Mm-hmm. He was the personality. I absolutely agree.
But not just a personality, but in a way that, and this is no offense to Chuck and Kenny Smith and Charles, but Van Gundy just kind of can talk the game on a deeper level than they can. Like, they're clearly more entertaining, but Jeff was entertaining. He could break down games in a way that I had a lot of respect for.
But he had a different job. I mean, he was doing color, and those other guys are doing panel work. But yeah, he was the best. He was the best that ESPN had. There's no question. He was their color commentator.
But there is something about like trying to replace him with Doris Burke and replace Mark Jackson with JJ Redick that's just not working for me. And I really think the more I've read about it, and again, I think this is all coming to light now that the TNT thing is in shambles. But it seems they got rid of Jeff Van Gundy because he was criticizing refs. And ESPN was under pressure from the NBA to get rid of this dude who was criticizing refs instead of them putting the pressure on the problem, which is they have crappy refs. Now we've got to suffer through Doris Burke. And I think JJ Redick's about to be the head coach of the Lakers.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to deal with him much longer.
First, I agree with the Van Gundy. Mark Jackson's just a dude. I don't miss Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson and Doris Burke are the same thing. But I'm with you with the Van Gundy thing. I agree. But now, but the vice versa is this, as you were saying. Do you really want to hear somebody complaining about the refs for 2.5 hours? I mean, do you really? I mean, even though he's right most of the time, and he doesn't complain about the refs for 2.5 hours. I'm not trying to paint Van Gundy in that light, but they are trying to put out a product that's being funded by a lot of things that, reffing might play into an issue. I mean, FanDuel on bringing the ref cam by FanDuel or whatever they're doing now kind of lends itself to let's not talk about the reffing, because if I got 10 points in the reffing, I got a problem with the reffing, then I got a problem with the entire system.
But and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, like when I drove in, I was listening to that Nuggets broadcast on the radio, and it was like, it was brutal because all they talked about.
I don't want to hear that. But Van Gundy is a coach who not only, it's not about the reffing, what Van Gundy is capable of doing that nobody else can, is he knows the refs by name and he knows their tendencies. He knows these cats. So when he comes into a game, he's like, you know what Scott Foster's going to do tonight? He knows it. And when he does it, he calls it out.
The difference is, to me, when Van Gundy's talking about, he's not like saying one side or another. He doesn't care who wins. He just wants it to be called well. But also, it didn't feel like he was. I don't know. I think if you go back to Sunday, I don't know how much you saw of the Pacers-Knicks pregame.
Saw the whole thing.
Okay, so they had Stephen A. Smith walking into the arena, like they showed him walking like. Almost like he was Jalen Brunson walking into the arena. Like, you know how he
got the perp walk. He got the fashion walk. He got the strut. He got the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. A little bit weird.
Yeah.
But then it was like, it was a Knicks broadcast.
With him and what's his name with the glasses? The director, the TV dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? The whole pregame was those two guys cutting up.
And then the Pacers, shoot the lights out, but it's still all about the Knicks. And it's like, how do you let that happen? It just feels like ESPN has, I hate to say dropped the ball, but kind of has. And man, I don't know if Mike Breen's good enough, because I think Mike Breen is good. Don't get me wrong.
But he ain't Kevin Harlan.
I don't think he's good enough to carry the dead weight they're asking him to carry. I just don't. And this is going to sound like I'm a woman hater. Like, I don't like Doris Burke on because she's a woman. No, I just don't think she's good. Like, I think she's fine, and she'd be fine if she were filling in. She just doesn't give me anything that I don't know or can't see with my eyes. Van Gundy, like, he'd point out things that I didn't see.
Right. Okay, AJ, I want to put you in a prism of you're an expert, dude. I mean, you're looking for expert level stuff.
Yeah.
Well, most of the general public ain't experts, man.
Well, I don't consider myself an NBA expert. Like,
you don't think you are because you're around a bunch of people that, that's been their lives. I mean, that you're part of your living is talking with dudes that's been their lives, their master's level basketball types. So you think you don't know much, when in fact, you're ahead of 98% of the giving you fine NBA coverage for 75% of the watchers. Doris Burke points out the obvious because a lot of the obvious folks don't know what they're looking at. So when you watch her, you're like, well, yeah, my wife and my other folks are watching, and they're going, oh. So there's a reason why she does that. There's that. She's not there to give you that expert level crap. That's not in the preseason in February. That's what we want from them. We want some expert level crap because the basketball sucks. The game should speak for itself right now. And Van Gundy would point out the flaws of a game that should be speaking for. This is the best the NBA has to offer. The last thing we need is to point out the flaws and the fallacies. I'm just taking the silver perspective on this. And when you got a guy who has the weight of a Van Gundy going, that guy sucks, that call was stupid, and they're hamstringing this and that, that's the last thing. NBA wants happy Doris, baby. Did you see that shot? Did you see how good literally she pointed out how good Halliburton was playing, and 4 consecutive plays were turnovers after that. But hey, we were all happy. We like him.
I just don't. I don't know. Watching that game last night, I got nothing, and it just made me realize how foolish it is that this, and they're like, ESPN tried at the time to say, well, part of why they let go of Van Gundy was because they thought he wanted to go be a coach. And then they hired Doc Rivers, who, guess what he did? He went to go be a coach. But if all you've got left, like if this was your backup plan, was what we had last night with Doris Burke, I mean, it just shines a light all over again on how bad they blew it.
You've got Disney money, and all we're hearing is Disney only wants Barkley. That's all they want. Then they're willing to pay Barkley, McAfee money.
If it means getting rid of Doris Burke, I'm all for it.
Wow, you went from just not liking her to just firing her and sending her on the Mark Jackson path.
What? I don't want her to be fired. I want her to have I want her to work B games. She should be. And
she can grow. It's not like she can't get better.
I agree. I just don't want her on the Eastern Conference Finals. It's crazy. She should have been doing, she should have done Cavs Magic, and when that series ended, she should have been off for the season. Go work on something else.
I think she is a worthy B.
Don't call her that. I didn't get personal.
She's a worthy B.
I think
she's.
Listen, now you're taking
Doris,
it to a
don't
level.
Be a B.
You're taking it to a level that I wasn't going.
She's an A. Okay. Wait, no, she's not that either.
Hold up.
Wait, I'm trying to help.
All right, we're gonna hit a break.
She wasn't so moody. Wait, is the mic on? Right.
Yeah. When we come back, some comments from DeMar DeRozan about his time here in San Antonio. I want to get if you're surprised by any of this. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio.
Steps left, 3, bang, 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 bang. Luka Doncic.
The Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves go head-to-head in Game 1.
If we continue to play Timberwolves basketball, it will fix a lot of problems that we may have with that team and what they do best. So I like our chances.
Game 1 of the Mavericks and Timberwolves.
Tonight, starting at 7, right here on your home for the NBA playoffs, 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Kathy, what is the name of the couple?
It was Mark and Sheila.
Speech impediment Terrence. Please put together a quick marriage announcement for Mark and Sheila.
Oh, my gosh.
Mark and Sheila. Don't be getting married.
Terrence, calm down.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps on you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks. Fantasy, you're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Set your alarm. Memorial Day doorbusters are here at Lowe's. Save big on a Master Forge 3-burner gas grill for just $99. Plus, save over $500 on a Whirlpool top-load laundry pair, now only $896. Beat the rush for these limited-time deals before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/27. Appliance offer valid on items 782472 and 670009. Price includes all discounts while supplies last.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, save $8 on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only. We'll even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FREE for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FREE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FREE for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Pack the Dome this Saturday for Hats Off to Heroes as the San Antonio Brahmas play their final home game of the season against the Birmingham Stallions. The playoff push is on for the San Antonio Brahmas, and it's a yellow out to display our support for our troops. Wear yellow, help us support our troops, and be loud for the final home game of the season. It's the Brahmas against Birmingham Saturday afternoon at 2 in the Alamo Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. That's theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime! Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Checking out the Brigade Bar. Claymore is confusing what I'm beefing about that. Not that I understand Jeff Van Gundy's been gone for a while. The outrage has been come and gone. I'm just saying it's so much more obvious now that Doris Burke is the one. And Rob, he mentioned during the break, Jessica Mendoza, who I think is incredible. I don't think I'm not one of these. I'm not no woman hater. All right. I'm not Harrison Butker. I think women can do some jobs, some, just not. I just don't think Doris Burke can do that man's job. That's all. At least not at the top level. You got to turn your mic on before you retort. Oh, okay.
I'm letting you tie that really tight. I'm going to let you get up
I'm
on that
not
ice
trying to
squad.
tell her to go churn butter or just go be her husband's wife or stand in a certain place and dress a certain way. I'm just saying I don't want her on the Easter Conference Finals.
I'm going to just let you have that.
All right.
I think she is fine for most. And
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
I think you're being nice.
No,
you're
I
a
think
gentleman.
She does not take away from and she takes away. So obviously there's a problem for me. It's just kind of like, yeah, I saw what you're saying. Then you didn't add anything. So it's a vanilla broadcast when she's doing it.
DeMar DeRozan had some things to say. I don't know if I'm going to play this sound. This is a long.
I do think we should
clips.
hear. I think there's something to how DeMar reacted to trauma.
All right, I'll play this,
and yeah, we could wave it off. But I do think that there's something here.
Now, one of these. Here's what Pledger did. He gave me 2 clips.
Right.
I've talked to Pledger about this. He doesn't care what I think.
Well, it's hard to pull out a singular idea sometimes, and I get it, and I think it does speak for itself. This is DeMar being DeMar in his most DeMarness.
Man, me up. I'm be honest. And it's crazy because I'm more than comfortable talking about it now. But for the longest, it me up, man, because one, that was a place I wanted to be, thought I was gonna be. Gave everything to. Like, my whole motivation and drive was to simply, put Toronto on the map. You know what I mean? I wanted to follow the whole motto of, Kobe, my favorite player. I wanted to play on one team. You know what I mean? I had it all mapped out. So when I got traded, it was such a blow because at the time I was dealing with family stuff. That's when my dad first started getting sick. And, that was the first time, like, in my professional career where I just felt, like, out of it. I felt lost. I felt like I started to question every single thing. Like, it was a moment to where, like, I didn't want to believe it.
That's on the Pivot podcast, I believe. Is that where he?
Yeah. Yep. What's it look like? What's not Kawhi? What's DeRozan looked upon as his time here?
We are grateful for his effort. He didn't want to be here. We knew it. But Pop, I think, was a godsend to DeMar DeRozan at that time in his life. I think that, he had gotten sent away from a place that he wanted to stay. And, his mental health has been well discussed over the years, that he's been an advocate for some of the issues. And you heard him deal with that. I think he got here and was a valiant soldier, given the situation he found himself. And then I think he found that Pop was good for his career. He's a better basketball player now than he was, but he arrived at a situation that was unwinnable. And, he talked about how he responded to the stress. He's the kind of guy that the more stressful the situation got, the more he worked out, and the more he worked out, the more drained he got and the sicker he got. And he's one of those guys that you love on your team, but when you interview, you're like, man, you're 101%. And I really only want you at about 98. And he ran a little hot. And I think Pop saved his career and added time, and a time that he probably shouldn't have been here. We love him, but it was time to go.
And maybe had the Spurs had some success during that run. They just wasn't a good team, really.
And, the thing about DeMar is he is a throwback player. He is a mid-range jump shooter in a 3-point league. And the game was changing all around him, and Pop allowed him to be who he was. And keep in mind, a couple years ago, there was a list of the top 100 players in the NBA, and DeMar came in at like 95, which was a crime. I mean, it just showed that you land in San Antonio, You do what you can, but you're not going to get any hype, any pub, any love. And it just kind of reinforced that, for a guy like DeMar, he didn't need to be here. And, he shouldn't have had to come here, but for what happened in Toronto, what was going on in San Antonio. And, he was a bridge, a stopgap, a very talented dude that just should have never been here.
When that trade was made, I guess it was him and who else? Jakob
Poeltl, yeah.
Yeah. So and it was for Kawhi and Danny Green, right?
Yeah.
And a pick. What was the general feeling of Spurs? I mean, other than Kawhi being gone, like, did it feel like the Spurs got ripped off? Could they have gotten more? What was the thought?
Well, I mean, you're giving up the future of the franchise, a guy that malingered his way out of town. So there was this absolute hatred of Kawhi.
But were Spurs fans glad to see him go?
Yeah, at that point, we didn't really know. We knew that we didn't like Kawhi, but the full story hadn't really developed. And DeMar and Jakob were worthy gets. I mean, they did feel like, that's enough to keep us in the playoffs and maybe something weird will happen. It was a bad time because we traded Kawhi directly into a title.
Yeah.
I mean, he landed directly, and DeMar was evacuated directly before a title. No one was happy in this. It was an unfortunate situation that dealt with a guy who had mental health. He had talked previously about the stresses of the job, and he got thrown into a cauldron. And I think he was really upset. And then he landed in a very safe and comfortable environment in San Antonio, and it allowed him to become, a better basketball player and probably a better rounded person because Pop's just that kind of guy. Didn't force anything on him and just let him be. And it was to the detriment of the team because he was good enough to carry us and get us some wins that, quite frankly, we didn't want nor need.
And then when they moved on from DeRozan, like a sign and trade situation, were the Spurs just looking to get expiring contracts?
Yeah, it was nothing coming.
That was the start of the full reset, really, right?
And we did our best to let him land someplace that would give him some playoff cred in a city that would allow him to kind of flourish in Chicago. But it was the end of his career. And I think in the long term, he'll look back at his life that there was the Toronto years and then this vague couple of years here and there. But for the meat of his career, he'll always look back at Toronto as the place that he should have been and should have gotten a ring.
Well, you know what, though? I don't know if he would have gotten a ring.
He wouldn't have.
I mean, this, again, I know you've told me don't say too many nice things about Kawhi in this town, but the Raptors don't win that ring without Kawhi. Yeah. And Kawhi was just a better player than DeMar. And there's nobody going to question that. It's just, it is unfortunate that the dude, he made it sound like he really had his heart and soul into that team, and it's hard when a team doesn't feel the same way, or when a team has to, to succeed, move on from a guy who feels that way about him.
And you hear the utter depths of the depression this cat went through, and you juxtapose that with, dude, you're worth $50 million, and the biggest problem in your life is you now have to play and live a luxurious life in San Antonio over Toronto. Really, that's the thing that's going to throw you into a depression, the likes of which you're not sure you can go on. That's so you hear that and you go, RPP, man.
All right. We are going to hit a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Pacers and can they recover from this? Can the Pacers work their way back into this series, or was that just such a kick in the balls that we might as well count them out? Also coming up, we're going to talk about Wemby and his chance of being on an all-NBA team, and something that hasn't happened in a long, long time for a rookie, and the Spurs, what they're going to do with that draft pick. There's rumors, although Rob told me once, if there's rumors about something the Spurs are going to do, they're probably lies. So I hope this one's not a lie, though. And then we'll talk a little bit in a little while. I want to talk about the Jags' new stadium and the fact that the Jags are getting a new stadium. There's some coincidences running around there. It's like, we need $1.4 billion for a stadium.
Guess what I just found?
Somehow we just cut $1.4 billion from schools.
Who'd have thought?
Weird how that works. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you head toward the weekend and you don't have your grilling plans in place, how can you consider yourself a grill master? Well, one way is to always have the very best meat possible on your grill, and that comes from Tri-County Meat Market. When you head over to Tri-County, you get an experience that you deserve. The meat cutters behind the counter, the experts, are there to give you the very best possible. They start at prime and they work your way from there. They say it, I believe it, a great meal starts with great meat from Tri-County Meat Market. So head over there today and take advantage of what they got. There's always a special in place, always a great steak at a great deal. Go pick out one of those and make sure you don't leave with one of those rubs that you can only find there. Grab the Tri-County one. Trust me on this. It is that good. Or if you're just in the market for something house-made, like one of their sausages. I bought about 6 feet of sausage the other day for a bunch of people coming over, and it was the highlight of the meal. It outshone the tri-tip that I had worked so hard to provide. That's why you go to Tri-County. Curated meats given to you by experts, special prices, special deals all the time. If you're a first responder, they thank you by giving you 10% off just by walking in the door. The 5 for $25 is always in play. I'll say it again. It is the best deal in all of San Antonio. 5 items in a bag. I promise you, there's 2 meals. Go find out what I'm talking about. Don't walk out the door without getting on their email list, so you don't have to listen to guys like me tell you what the specials are. They'll go ahead and reach out to you directly. That's Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations, Heaton, Ralph Fair. Head out there today, and I know you're going to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is day 2 of OTAs for the Dallas Cowboys. You think maybe CD or Micah might show up for day 2?
No, it's still voluntary.
Come on.
We'll talk about game 1 of the Western Conference Finals that gets underway tonight. React to what we saw in the East Finals. Plus, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the Tin Cup Bar, the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of San Antonio, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to the Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
You want another way to add excitement to watching the NBA playoffs? Jason Minix here. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It is a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports, especially playing the Pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your Pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. It is fantasy, and it is legal in Texas. So get started by going to the easy-to-use Underdog Fantasy mobile app or go to the website underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up using my promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Get ready, San Antonio. Baseball Express and Team Express are hosting the event of the season. Stop by 1003 East Nakoma for a chance to pop a balloon and get up to 100% off your purchase, up to $500. Only 250 balloons are available, so come early. Baseball Express and Team Express have gear for every sport, team uniforms, and top brand apparel. Clearance items up to 60% off. Use code CTE10 for an extra 10% off. Team Express, all sports, all the time. Visit teamexpress.com for more details.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyer4us.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyer4us.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyer4us.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Man, the more I watch this end of regulation sequence where Jaylen Brown makes the three to tie it and send it to overtime, I don't understand how Siakam doesn't put a hand up. I get you don't want to foul there. I get that. You still have to try to defend. You can't get close to him and then put your hands behind your back, which is what Siakam did. Literally, like, put his hands in handcuff position.
Yeah, there's a one of the greatest high school basketball coaches to ever walk the planet. It's a guy named Coach Dick Showalter. And I went to a coach's clinic with him, and he brought up one time when he was talking about 2-minute offenses and defenses and strategies in the last 2 minutes of a game. And he opened up this whole seminar. If you're a coach and you have a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go and you lose, it is your fault. No matter what occurred on the court, whether your player dribbled it off his toes or turned the ball over repeatedly, if you have a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go, it is your fault. The Pacers last night, according to ESPN's win probability, had a 97% chance to win the game with 6 seconds to go and lost. It is Carlisle's fault.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will say, man, I thought Jaylen Brown fouled on the inbound play. He had a hand in the back, and was it a great pass? No, definitely not a great pass. But was there a foul on the inbound? I would say yeah. That said, once they call that and it's a turnover, you have to have a better idea of what you're doing defensively. You can't let Jaylen Brown get open in the corner. There's two guys you had to say, okay, these are the guys we don't want to take the last shot.
And guess who took the last shot twice? Yeah. The two guys.
Take those two guys away. If it comes down to, okay, we're going to leave Derek White literally wide open, literally, like where there's no one within 10 feet of him, and he hits a wide open three, we'll go to overtime. But Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum are not going to be allowed to take this shot. And if that's your defensive philosophy, you can take them away. Because a two wasn't going to do him any good. Like it had to be a three. So you can game plan out two shooters. It's hard to game plan out three, but again, don't worry about putting someone on the inbounder. Put two guys on Tatum, two guys on Brown, and if one of the other guys beats you, okay.
Derek White hits a shot, I'm going to live with it. Even though it's a good shot for Derek, he's the third option.
All right.
I'll live with it.
That's all right.
I'll live with
overtime.
I'll live with
it. And this is different because if the Celtics were down 2, you can't let Derek White have that shot. But the Celtics being down 3, you've got two options. You either foul before a shot goes up, or you just say there's no way in the world that one of these two guys are shooting. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. Or you foul so damn hard that there's no chance that ball can go in, and make him make 3 free throws to go to overtime.
Which Siakam, I think, watching the film, will regret that forever.
I think so too.
To stand there with your arms behind your back.
To not put a hand in his face, to not like try to get vertical, nothing. It's and this. What did the Pacers bring him in for?
It's Jaylen Brown, man.
Dude.
He's there to take that shot. It was a career-defining shot for him. I found it interesting in the postgame as they grabbed Brown right afterwards. And one of the first things he said was Jason finally woke up and made some shots, which defines the Celtics right there. That defined him. Now, he did wake up, and that shot he hit to close the overtime was huge, but you had to wake up for overtime in what was a pretty good game for most people, for mere mortals.
Yeah.
But Tatum was kind of a non-entity till that shot.
But I also think the way he said it is something the Celtics need.
Yes.
The Celtics need somebody in that locker room, for lack of a better term, to just quit being a bitch. There's a bunch of like soft-ass dudes in that room. And for one guy to be like, yeah, about time our alpha showed up. Like, I think maybe Jason Tatum needs to hear that.
Well, think about the hard asses they've rotated through Boston to try to toughen them up. I mean, Marcus Smart fought for years and he couldn't do it. Then they go bring a seasoned vet like Drew Holiday, and we can talk about the bit part dudes that have come and gone. They've tried to toughen up Tatum and Brown for years, and Brown has always kind of had it, but didn't have the opportunity to show it as much because there was always Tatum.
Well, when you're the number 2, you're not allowed to be like the face of the team.
Things don't work out. He might be the number 1 somewhere.
I'm telling you, I think it might be in Boston because if it boils down to it, if the Celtics don't win here and they've got to make a choice between Brown and Tatum, to me, it's not even a choice at this point. And I'll be honest, at the time, I didn't think I wouldn't have wanted to pay Jaylen Brown what they paid him. I almost said, let him go. Like, they haven't done anything. Let him go and build the team around Tatum and build a young team around him. But now that we've had 2 more years since you go past since then, and it's like, I'd rather have Brown than Tatum. I think Tatum's probably a better player, like from a ceiling standpoint.
He is.
But
10-man.
Jaylen Brown he's at least a dude.
He's a 10-man, no heart.
Tatum's he's just soft, man.
Well, that might play into the narrative of find a pro, a vet of the quality of Tatum that doesn't necessarily want to be the alpha. There's nothing wrong with that. Just lead, follow, or get out of the way. Understand your role and go do it. And maybe this will play into a narrative that feeds the Spurs if we want to look for a silver lining to what was a win. Let's not take away the fact that the Celtics fought back and went through adversity and did all the things to win a basketball game in a conference finals. I mean, let's not discount what Tatum played a role in. But, dude, if things shake like this and they lose, even if they win badly, and you're looking at another $60 million dude on the Celtics, maybe winning badly won't be enough.
When's the last time you saw a dude that's like the level of a Jason Tatum just say, I'm all right not being the alpha?
Oh, it's happened. I mean, for guys that finally realize for me to get a ring, every generation's got 2 or 3 of these cats that finally, even Barkley finally went, you know what? I'll play second fiddle to Kevin Johnson if I have to.
Yeah. But I'm thinking like Jason Tatum's in his prime. Like, this is not like this isn't an old dog like trying to grab for it's almost like when Dwayne Wade was like, you know what? I'm all right with this. I'm all right with LeBron coming and being the guy, and I'll be the number 2, and that's fine. But I don't know that Jason Tatum is okay being the number 2. I just don't know that Jason Tatum can do the things that make you a number 1. If that makes any sense. Like, he doesn't have the mentality to be a number 1. You never question that with Dwayne Wade. And in fact, we saw Dwayne Wade win a ring as a number 1. So I don't think I think it was in him. I just haven't seen it out of
2
Tatum.
years ago, we weren't saying that. 2 years ago, we saw the upswing and he was doing everything right and he plateaued.
But we already thought he would have a ring by now. And it was we thought it was a foregone conclusion.
I don't think the chapter's not done yet, but the comparison will always to me be Carmelo Anthony. I mean, will he be Carmelo or will he be a guy with a ring?
And the fact that they're up 1-0 and what Jason Tatum had 36 points.
Yeah. And it was an unobtrusive 36, but for a huge 3 to close out overtime.
And we're still looking at him like, man, does he really have it?
Which, is that fair? Is it fair with 36 and a closeout 3 in overtime?
It might not be.
Well, the fact that we have to question an alpha dude like that is fair.
I agree with that. let me bring it back to the question about the Pacers. You lose a game like this, like you said, when you're up 10, you got a 97% win probability, whatever it is. It's on the coach, but the players also feel it. Can they come back from this? Is there a route back?
I don't know what's worse, to wake up from that or to wake up from a 30-point, like nothing went right. To wake up and go, you know what? We lost that game.
Game 6 from the Knicks.
Yeah, we were down 12-0 before we even took off our sweats, and we never figured it out. I don't know if it's better to wake up after that or wake up after last night where you go, there were 3 plays, just 3, that changed our destiny. 3. And I don't know how to fix those 3 because they were representative of exactly who we are.
What's wild is the Pacers also were that team who was down 12-0 before they took off their sweats, fought all the way back, then started the second half, and it happened all over again, and fought all the way back. To do that the way they did it, to lose that game the way they did, to come back the way they did and come up short, man, I don't know if you recover. I really don't. And you're right. The way they lost is so Pacers. It's so Pacers. But I just maybe this is the ceiling of what they are. And nobody expected the Pacers to go to the finals.
No, they're Oklahoma City. This is gravy. This is gravy.
Well, I don't know if I don't think they're as good as Oklahoma City.
No, but in our minds, Indiana, they made a bunch of deals, close out the season. They saw some potential. They trade for Siakam, and they give up a little bit of their future because they saw something a little bit earlier. But I think when the season is done, ain't no coach going to lose his job. Ain't nobody going to be mad. Everybody's going to go, well, you know what? This Halliburton, guys, we got an all-NBA guy. Miles Turner, which I do believe is going to play a huge role in the next couple of games. We got ourselves a very quiet superstar that we got locked up, and we're in good shape. Got a Mathurin that we're not even using right now.
Oh, man.
Nesmith has turned into a stud, and we got Nembhard. This is a team that's in as good a shape as Oklahoma City is. Maybe not the same level of all NBA types with Chet, but if I'm a Pacer, only problem I see right now is Carlisle.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, but Carlisle's a guy who
he's not a problem.
Done it.
But last night there were some things that I go, well, there's the coach.
But you know what? To his credit, he said in the post-game presser, this loss is totally on me. And when you got a 5-point lead with under 2 minutes to go, I mean, I'm with you. It is on him. They were up 3. They didn't foul with inside of 10 seconds, which is kind of the rule of thumb. Like and Carlisle, this is the other thing. This was the other thing I took from that presser last night. Carlisle said that Siakam was told to foul, and Siakam decided not to because of the bang-bang nature of the play. And now Carlisle said he thought that Siakam made the correct play in the moment to avoid the 4-point play. He said, but before the play was run, he was told to foul him. But he said the mistake was a few seconds before the Brown 3 that he didn't call timeout to advance the ball past half court. That's what he thought his mistake was.
And a valid one. Yeah, I appreciate that he's falling on his sword, but there should have been no question. If he catches it, you foul him. There's no decision here. I'm telling you, if there's a shooter, you foul him. There's no pull your arms down and make a better decision. I'm telling you right now, if he's going to go up and shoot, do it before the ball leaves his hands and foul the fool.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to give away ACL tickets to start the segment. Why didn't you tell me that?
I was lost in the basketball.
You were lost in the sauce, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give away an opportunity to win 2 3-day wristbands for ACL Festival. October 11th through 13th. Listen to this show and the Blitz at the bottom of the hours to get qualified. And we're going to give away a pair of wristbands at the end of the week. We gave away one last week. Maria's very excited to attend ACL Fest. And if you don't win, you can always buy your wristbands at aclfest.com. Make it an easy one since I forgot totally like an idiot. And if you watched that game last night, let me see. Oh, here's one. This one may surprise you. Jaylen Brown was not the second leading scorer for the Celtics last night. Jason Tatum was the lead scorer. Jaylen Brown was third. Who was the second leading scorer for the Boston Celtics last night and had a really good game? And I don't think we've mentioned his name all day today. First person to call in and tell that to Vic, you, sir or madam, will be registered for those 3-day wristbands at 656-3776. And then we'll do this again at 8:30 and 9:30. Maybe 9:30 we'll do it on the maybe we'll do a brigade board giveaway on in the last giveaway of the day. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. This series is over. It's not like it's some bold take, but I do feel like if the Pacers could have won this game yesterday, I'd have my doubts. I'd say, well, maybe. Because again, I don't believe in the Celtics. I'm not a buyer. I'm not looking for reasons to think the Celtics are going to win because the Celtics have proven historically to me that they don't win. So my nature is to not believe in them, but I have to here. I mean, the Pacers, because to lose the way they lost. I mean, you said Carlisle. I think it's all of them. I think they're all looking at themselves. I can't imagine what that locker room was like after the game.
Rookies, they're going to be flustered. They're going to get a win. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep. They're going to give the Pacers a home win. And call it a day. And the moment that the Celtics start to get a little nervous, the win last night gave them 2 more days to get Porzingis well. And so they have the benefit now of a couple more days of waiting for one more weapon to get ready. You
know how they by the way, yesterday when we did the show, they said no Porzingis for game 1 or game 2. They win the game. Guess what they said? No Porzingis till at least game 4. Yeah. Like he's just okay. As long as we're winning, and if they win game 2, they'll say no Porzingis till game 5.
Right. So that's the thing that if I'm a Pacer, I'm going, well, oh crap! As soon as there's no way we can stop.
All right. When we come back, we're going to get into this Wembanyama thing. All defensive first team. Can he make an All-NBA team, becoming the first rookie since Tim Duncan to do so? I think we might have differing opinions on this. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. You stop running because your feet always hurt. That's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right Right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
Silence is golden, especially when it comes to brakes. That's why Napa Silent Guard are built to be one of the smoothest and most quiet brakes on the market. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad, rubber-coated hardware for a better fit, and quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power drivers demand. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Set your alarm. Memorial Day doorbusters are here at Lowe's. Save big on a Master Forge 3-burner gas grill for just $90. Save over $500 on a Whirlpool top-load laundry pair, now only $896. Beat the rush for these limited time deals before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/27. Appliance offer valid on items 782472 and 670009. Price includes all discounts while supplies last.
Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
Score a trip for four to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs continue as the Boston Celtics escape in an overtime win versus the Indiana Pacers in Game 1, 133-128. The Western Conference Finals start tonight. Luka Doncic and the Mavs head to Minnesota to take on Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Tip-off set for 7:30. It's a game you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Pre-game starting at 7. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 3. I like to call this the Power Hour. I don't know why, but I feel like on a wacky morning show, you're supposed to have a power hour, and I don't know why it would be this one, but
well, let's
it's as
say
good as any.
This is the peak traffic.
Is it?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Studies have shown.
Sorry. I can't read that. Oh, there we go. Matthew Golder is qualified for ACL tickets. Congratulations, Matthew. I like to call him Matt. Congratulations.
It was Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday, who had a quietly good game yesterday. Strong showing. Had a few turnovers. That was probably why he's under the radar, but 28 points, 8 assists, and 7 boards.
The Luka stopper.
That'll get you done.
He is there for one thing.
Well,
Anthony Edwards or Luka.
Now, those are different beasts to attack.
That's why you go get a Drew Holiday, because he's one of the few who can do both.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that game coming up later on in the show as that series gets underway tonight. I expect that to be a good series.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Wembanyama yesterday became the first rookie in the history of the world, the whole wide world, to be named first team all defensive team in the NBA. Not shocking. And we kind of went over a little bit why that it's possible now, and it wouldn't have been 15 years ago or 20 years ago, or even, God, I guess it's, boy, you know what'll make you feel old when you think back to guys like Hakeem, who is almost 40 years ago. It's like, that's really gross to think about.
I can't imagine that he wasn't. You look back and go, Hakeem wasn't Rookie and Defensive Player of the Year?
He was not. But that was also a time, as we mentioned, where it was hard and fast. You voted on one center, you voted on one power forward, one small forward. Now it's front court players, back court players. And Gobert and Wemby both voted to the first team, as they should be. And again, we can argue all day till we're blue in the face if Wemby is a center or not a center. I don't think he wants to be a center. I don't think he's going to be a center, but he is a front court player, no doubt. So because you can have 3 front court players and they could have a third 7-footer if they wanted. It could be, I guess it couldn't be Jokic, but it could be some other giant guy. And we could say, hey, this 7-footer is also a first team All NBA, and you could have all 3 of them. But it doesn't take away that, Wemby had a fantastic year. The question now is, can he make All NBA team? That's going to be announced today. He would be the first rookie since Tim Duncan to make the second or third team.
That's crazy.
It is.
That it's been since Tim. We're talking about LeBron.
Yeah. Didn't make it. LeBron didn't have that kind of a rookie year.
And we look back at it, the way we're going to look back at Wemby. You look back at LeBron's long and illustrious career and you go, I kind of vaguely remember his rookie year not being bad. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't. And I think we're going to look back at Wemby and go, Wemby didn't get Defensive Player of the Year, but he was All NBA. He was All NBA first team defensive, all that. And we're going to go, the one thing he didn't get was Defensive Player of the Year, which we would have thought would have been the first thing he got.
What if I told you this? So Wemby, I mentioned he's the first one to be first team All NBA. He's the 6th rookie to make any the second team All Defensive team. How many of those do you think you could name? The other 5
rookie All Defensive team players.
Yep.
I'd like to think I could name them all, but I'm obviously not going to be able to do it.
2 of them here. Tim and David Robinson both made it.
Right.
Hakeem made it in 1985. Manute Bol in 1986. Is that surprising?
Yeah, but you have to remember the era. He was kind of like it was a sideshow. And the fact that he turned into a lifer, he ended up playing long enough. But when he showed up, it was a sideshow. He was 7'7".
Yeah. And Kareem, which no shock.
I wouldn't have gotten Manute.
That one.
I would have thought Pat Ewing would have been one I'd have thrown in there.
So the All NBA team gets announced today. I'm going to ask you because you kind of said it, but I'll have you put your stamp on it. You think Wemby makes one of the top 3 teams?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I don't think he does.
We just gave you the bona fides. How can you not? All NBA first team, 2nd Defensive Player of the Year, and All Rookie.
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily make you one of the top 15 guys in the league.
50, no, we're talking about the top 45. How many guys are they sending? Is it 15 or 21? Is it 8?
I think they do the top 3 teams. So it's.
Is it just 5 per?
I think it's 5 per.
Okay, so top 15. I don't see how you keep Wemby out of the top 15, considering how the votes have gone. It might not be absolutely correct, but all those votes were cast kind of at the same time.
Yep.
So if you're checking a bunch of boxes, how do you get to the last one and go, well, Wemby doesn't belong there?
I have a feeling if I were a betting man, which I am not, I'm going to say the first team looks something like Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, Luka, and SGA.
And maybe Embiid, depending on when votes were cast.
You know what? I don't know.
He can't qualify.
I don't think he's qualified.
65, so he can't get that.
I don't think he can.
That opens the door for Wemby even more.
It does open a door for him. But if we say that's, would it surprise you if one of those guys didn't make it?
Well, no Ja and no Embiid.
Yeah.
So that's 2 immediate spaces that would have been taken that Wemby wouldn't have been in there because those 2 are obvious choices. Did Curry did because he got Clutch Player of the Year. I'm trying to think of all the other studs that may or may not be in the. He's a top 15 player. Man.
Okay,
there's just you can't. I don't know who we're quibbling with.
I think here's what I'm going to say. Guys that I think will make the they'll count as front court guys. I think they will count Anthony Davis. who I'm pretty sure will be voted ahead of Wemby. I think I bet LeBron makes third team. KD. You think Wemby will be voted ahead of KD?
I'm just saying, as the votes were tallied, Wemby was front of mind on all of these, unless that one ballot came in one week and another. I don't see how you vote all this way and then get to the end and rank the top 15 players accordingly and leave him off. I don't know how you name him a defensive all NBA type, an all rookie type, the second best defensive player in the game, regardless of age. I don't see how you keep him off the top 15. Now we could quibble,
but I don't think they're going to put Gobert on the first team All NBA.
That's another reason why Wemby will be there, because Gobert won't be.
But I think Zion will be.
No.
I bet he will.
No. Did he have enough games? Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he had enough. No, he won't.
I think they will consider Sabonis,
which probably rightfully should be double machine.
I'm not sure, man. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for him, and depending on what they consider Jaylen Brown too, that'll be interesting. What they consider Kawhi. I bet Kawhi ends up on a team.
Oh God, no!
I bet you he does.
There's no way.
Okay,
no way.
All right.
Oh, see, if Kawhi makes it on there, it's one of those lists when you see one name on the list, you go, "Get out of here." I mean, that proves the fallacy of the vote.
I never said there was no fallacy
right,
to the
that's
vote.
what I'm saying. So if that's the case, first of all, yes, we know Kawhi, if he was 100%, is fully capable of being there, but he's not. That's a reputation vote.
The backcourt guys, there's going to be some real discussion, man. Because like I said, I assume Luka and SGA are going to be first team guys. I think there's real arguments to be made for Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Steph Curry, Devin Booker. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can argue for and say, man, that somebody's getting left out. And you remember there's contractual things involved in this now, like where you
have to be named to these teams to get a supermax.
Yes. So it matters a lot. Was it Devin Booker who got kind of shafted a couple years ago?
Yes, there was a couple over the years that have gotten shafted due to injuries and missing games or not getting named to it. Ja came real close, remember?
Yeah. And I don't think, I mean, if Wemby doesn't make it this year, it's not the end of the world from he's going to make one between now and when his contract's up. But I don't think they're going to put him on there this year.
I think there's a good argument to be there. The reason I say that he will, I just think that you can't vote all that way and then get to the end and go, well, I voted for him, all those things, but he's still not there. I just don't see how you could justify it. I think we could justify it if we went linearly and named the top 15 players as they sit today. He's probably not that. But for bigs and notoriety and things that he did, I think he's going to get on the list.
This is a year, though, where there's a lot of players who would normally be on one of these teams that are not eligible.
What about Dame? Where do you think Dame lands on this? I don't think he's there.
I don't think so.
And I'm not even sure. I guess you got to give Giannis just on reputation. But as far as how he played this year, I don't know if he played one of the 15 best players.
I think he did, especially when you can factor in defense. I mean,
I don't say you take him off, but if you rank, like, how did you play this year? Not off reputation. What did you do?
Sure.
I'm not sure he gets there. And Wemby, you could go, what did you do? And say he did.
But here's the other thing, and this isn't fair. And like you said, you can question the fairness of the list. He plays in San Antonio. You almost got to make it.
And forgive me, I think that Spur fan and me, and it goes right along in there. We feel like we have to amplify our argument because we are a flyover town.
No, I get it, man. But this is a year, especially for a front court guy. Embiid ineligible, Karl Anthony Towns ineligible. Porzingis ineligible. Like, there's a lot of those guys. It's like didn't play enough games. And Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, Julius Randle, Darius Garland, Bradley Beal. Like, the list goes on and on of guys who didn't play enough games, who are often in the conversation, who are not in the conversation this year. So this is maybe a year where it would be easier to make an all NBA team. I just don't think they're going to give him a nod in his first year.
You ideally, I guess, because he's already been named. If you're on the NBA all defensive team, that's enough for the Supermax, right? So he qualified.
Is that what it is? I thought it was all NBA.
Is it just all NBA?
I think it's all NBA.
Okay, so he's still, the Spurs are probably rooting against him getting it,
which is absurd.
Which is
ridiculous. I mean, you want to give this guy the Supermax.
Yeah, in the next 3 years, he's going to get whatever he wants. But, if you are rooting for a few dollars in your bank, you go, well, sorry, Victor, you just weren't quite enough this year.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think that I think him being a rookie too, and I'm not saying that's fair either, but I do think they're going to hold that against him. Like if it comes down to, okay, do we give it to Wemby or Sabonis? I think they're going to say, this dude's been around. Like he warrants this.
And the NBA has a history of giving you a career achievement. They do have a history of you're getting it this year for what you did last year. So I don't think anybody would be mad at Sacramento and Sabonis because they have the same argument we do. He'd be up there. We'd be talking about him more, and we'd be talking about Keegan Murray as one of those rising stars. But we play in Sacramento, and nobody gives a crap.
I mean, you're right. It's kind of a. If they had ever had the success that the Spurs had, I think those two franchises would be looked at similarly. But for them, it's a little bit different because the success that they have, you can point to a handful of guys because you see Sabonis and you're like, man, that guy can play. You see Murray and you're like, he's got it. De'Aaron Fox might be their best player.
I should have brought him up before.
I don't even know I don't know how they ranked those three guys, but here there's just one guy. Like there's one guy who's even in any of these discussions. So if there was any kind of split votes in Sacramento, there's none of that here.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a nationally voted on thing, so I don't think anybody's looking at it that way. But I also think there's something to if a guy's in his first contract and he hasn't been named yet, throw him a bone.
And there is that. And I do think if players are voting, they know that too.
All right, we got to hit a break. When we come back, I'm going to take a break from the NBA. I'm going to move something around. We're going to do some non-sports stuff. I'm going to talk about. Have you ever heard of a Borg drink?
You mean like the Star Trek Borg?
No.
Oh no,
not like Star. It's a new drinking trend. Maybe your son's done this.
I hope not.
We'll find out if he's drinking Borgs on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Oh, hold on to your Borg for just a second. I want to talk about Kinetico water softeners. They're water treatment products designed in the United States, made with San Antonio and South Texas in mind. Kinetico, a kinetic water softener does not plug in. I didn't know that till I got one. You don't even plug those things in. It doesn't have a motherboard, doesn't have anything to break it. It only works when you turn on the faucet. I've saved salt. I don't know how much I've saved because, quite frankly, I don't think about my salt very often because, Kinetico is saving money there too. Having a Kinetico around San Antonio isn't just about a necessity. And while our aquifer are our wells, it brings up some good water, makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer. But I'll tell you what, the residual in your pipes and on your skin and in your hair, you know what I'm talking about. If you got that, your water softener's not doing its job. Get a good one. Get the very best. In fact, that's a Kinetico. And right now, you're not going to find a better deal. If you'll dial 656-PURE, that's P-U-R-E, the Kinetico folks will come out and put a brand new Kinetico in your home. No cost, no charge, no anything for 90 days. You'll find out what I know, that Kinetico is made for us at the best you can get. So call them today at 656-PURE and prove it to yourself. The Kinep has been taking care of me and my neighbors for a long time. Let them take care of you. 656-PURE is the number. You can go to their website. It's KineticoSA.com. Sing it while you type it. Get yourself a Kinetico. Get it for free for 90 days and find out what I'm talking about. In 91 days, you're going to be like me, a Kinetico customer, and I'm sure you can thank me then.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is day 2 of OTAs for the Dallas Cowboys. You think maybe CD or Micah might show up for day 2?
No, it's still voluntary.
Come on.
We'll talk about game 1 of the Western Conference Finals that gets underway tonight. React to what we saw in the East Finals. Plus, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
In lieu of flowers, donate to Dogs That Care.
There's somebody somewhere putting together a website right now. Dog That Cares.
Have you ever escaped the backyard, gone over to the neighbor's place,
killed every chicken they had? I have. I'm a dog who cares.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Pack the Dome this Saturday for Hats Off to Heroes as the San Antonio Brahmas play their final home game of the season against the Birmingham Stallions. The playoff push is on for the San Antonio Brahmas, and it's a yellow out to display our support for our troops. Wear yellow, help us support our troops, and be loud for the final home game of the season. It's the Brahmas against Birmingham Saturday afternoon at 2 in the Alamo Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. That's theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
This is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do the outdoor stuff that you love to do, like golfing, hiking, biking, jogging, playing on the beach. Hey, it's James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints, like your knees, hips, back, shoulders. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. QC medical professionals are under the direction of Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, who is an orthopedic surgeon who became the future pioneer in regenerative medicine. He knew there had to be a better way. So call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing: help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-979-1771. That's 800-979-1771. 800-979-1771.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Yeah. Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. Man, that's the dopest beat. Your mic's not on.
Yeah, well,
you got to get better about that.
I
You're,
do.
like,
I'm accustomed to
are you
having that
new?
stuff done for me. I'm the talent.
Hey, Vic, can we start
And I
turning Rob's mic on for him every segment?
No, I should be doing that. I've been fumbling with my earpieces. I'd rather be in control of my own mic.
Would you, though?
I have a fear.
All right.
I have a fear.
Right.
I'm an overcusser.
Oh, I've noticed that.
Yeah, I am. I think it's a sign of intelligence.
After every show, you tell me this show was bleep,
This
bleep,
was a
bleep.
load
This
of
is a
MF
bleep,
and
bleep,
Doris
bleep.
is a B, and
You're a fake mother
flarn.
bleep, bleep. Yeah, I've gotten the sick into that. Borgs.
What the hell is a
What is a Borg? I said the same thing.
Like a new Moscow mule, which suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
It's called a blackout rage gallon.
Well,
this is how the kids are drinking, apparently. Gen Z. What's Gen Z? Like, what's the age date?
About, I think my kid's a Gen Z.
Okay, maybe he's done this. It's a concoction that's prepared in a gallon-sized jug.
Mm-hmm.
Typically contains vodka, water, a flavor enhancer, and an electrolyte, either powder or drink.
So trash can punch.
Gen Z either is 1997 to 2012.
Yeah. Trash can punch.
Well, it's kind of what it is. But now these are. This is it's not made in a, like we would make them in like the 5-gallon jug, like you'd have at a baseball game, like one of those, or
a trash can.
Yeah, sometimes you'd maybe even do it in like in a sink or a bathtub, which is a little
large
bit vile.
Container. We did it in bathtubs too.
But this is in a COVID era. You want to have your own drink, so you walk around with your own personal Borg and
your own jug.
And the key is it's got water and electrolytes in it. So it's kind of like it's letting you extend your playtime is what it's doing. It's letting you last a little longer than if you were just drinking. Like when I was a kid, I don't know about you, they would mix Everclear with Hawaiian Punch.
Trash can punch. Yeah,
and that was it was 2 ingredients. Mm-hmm. And it was
we weren't adding electrolytes now.
Yeah, you could only do it for so long. But if you said, okay, let's take 2 bottles of Everclear and now dump 2 gallons of water in, and now dump, 10 Gatorades in.
What about some caffeine? Let's throw some.
Well, I don't think you want to do that. I think, listen, this is already killing people. But it's at least going to make you last.
This is nothing new under the sun. Come on. This is trash can punch in a jug. This is all of this
I think it's different.
It's the same.
Everyone made their own Borgs last year at this senior party, this girl was saying. And one of the reasons is the social aspect. You write your name on the jug with a Sharpie. And it's almost like your name tag. It's like, hi, I'm Rob. And you put your ingredients. Like, I like Arctic grape Gatorade with my vodka and water.
All right. I like White Claws. I just drink only White Claw.
Dude, that's not true. I've been around you. You don't drink only White Claws.
I thought that's what Gen Zs did.
You do drink some White Claws, but not only.
I knew there'd be some White Claw. So this is bad?
Apparently it's killing people.
Okay.
Of
course it is.
Ridiculous.
Now it does say that there are gallon jugs that have names like Captain Borgin, our Borgin savior.
So are they decorating the jugs for like their boyfriends?
Yes.
Are they giving them like very special milk jugs?
It's like the cheerleaders, like they every cheerleader's assigned a football player. They decorate their Borgs.
So many jokes there.
Borgin donor, Borgin Wallen.
Now I'm getting down with this. Now I'm enjoying this trend. But kids, never drink from the trash can. Ever.
No,
never,
or
never
a bathtub.
Bathtub, trash can. If it's been made without your presence, never drink it.
Now, a Borg often contains a fifth, which is about 17 standard drinks. That's a lot of alcohol. But then you're like, well, but then when you add in water, you're still drinking the alcohol. It's still a lot. Now, this story goes away from me when it says no amount of alcohol is good for you. It's actually best not to drink any at all. A number of recent studies have found that alcohol is bad for you. Really? Recent studies found that? Okay.
I ascribe to the Ben Franklin. It's proof that God loves us.
Yeah, I'm with you. Says if you do drink, health experts encourage moderation. That's no more than 3 ounces of alcohol for women or 4 ounces for men over the course of a day. That's according to Dr. Harrison Butker, who says
that make me a pie.
Women they've got better things to do than spend their time drinking my alcohol. Get over there and cook.
Your fancy night smock and come in here and see me.
Where are you wearing a muumuu?
You got that muumuu?
Why not?
With the proper cutouts on.
Put your muumuu back on. I don't want you going outside.
See your ankles.
What are you doing with that book? Where the hell did you get that?
You can read?
Is that a library card? What are you doing with that library card? Who told you could get that?
Driving? We can't have that.
Who co-signed on you to have a library card? They let you get that yourself?
I'm going to call Brother Jebediah and we're going to have a discussion.
Just beware. When I read about these Borgs, I was wondering if your son had any.
As I told my kid, there's nothing new under the sun. This has been going on forever, and all things in moderation. And I appreciate the fact that they are making their own drinks. I mean, I do get that.
It's better than drinking out of a trash can or a bathtub.
Yeah, but they're idiots, and they're going to do idiot things. So don't be an idiot.
Well, and the other thing is, I don't know that I've ever been at a place where this happened, but when I was a kid, it was like the horror story was someone's going to spike the community drink, whether it be with like roofies or, some, and now I guess it would be fentanyl or something terrible. At least if you've got a jug with a lid, you're not worried about that.
There's
like,
some safety
you're
there.
dictating what's in it, and that's kind of safe, but maybe not drinking a fifth of vodka even with Gatorade.
And I think that is the fundamental shift from my age to this era is we didn't ever have the money nor the want to drink a whole bunch of like alcohol. We drank beer because that's all we had. We didn't.
Well, beer's a social drink,
right? And there wasn't any. You weren't worried about getting roofied with a beer because you just drank the beer and put it down, got another one. I mean, that's just kind of how it was, and that's been the fundamental shift for me. So I wasn't wealthy enough to live in this age. I couldn't have afforded to drink the way these kids do.
Now you're got a lawyer dad.
No, I'm just talking about. Think about it. When you were in high school,
off the teat,
all your friends gathered together and you came up with $8, and that was enough to go get like a 12 or a Schlitz. And you got the fortified beer, you got the strongest you could find, but you were buying Schlitz. You weren't going and buying Diesel.
When I was in the Army, I would go to the little PX, and they'd have for $1.50, you could get a 40 ounce of Mickey's fine malt liquor with the wide mouth
big
cap.
Mouth Mickey's, baby.
And you drink 2 of those 40s, and you are, in
a hurry on the way to the club, baby.
I was 19 years old, so 2 40s of Mickey's would put me down. But also, you have to wake up the next day and maybe go run 6 miles.
Take that vice off your head.
Yeah, it's not healthy. All right. When we come back, we're going to register somebody to win ACL tickets and ACL wristbands, I should say. And we're going to get into a conversation with our friend, Dr. Jason Garrett. I really want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, who looks like he's back and healthy. We'll talk about why he was able to get back so fast. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
As you sit very comfortably in your home, hopefully nothing is paining you, nothing keeping you out of the game. If you're dealing with pain, listen close. A Rosti is out there, and they can fix you. So many people like yourself put up with things that just keep them out of life, and you don't have to. They can get you fixed. And what has made a Rosti so successful is how they do it, because it's not about pills to hide the pain, and it's not about some kind of surgical procedure to prolong the pain. It is your body's maximum healing potential being utilized to fix itself. It's a combination of chiropractic and deep tissue massage and, I don't know, witchcraft. All I can tell you is it works. I've had lower back issues most of my adult life, and it was just, for most of it, was a matter of time. Lay on your back till it gets better. And that's what I did until I, staggered into an Arasti provider about eight years ago. And I could not believe how quickly I got back in the game. I want that for you. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Arasti providers are waiting on you right now. In fact, you don't even need a referral to go. Write this number down. It's 1-800-404-6050. The website is Arasti.com, AIRROSTI.com. They got a great map of all the local providers there. I'm sure there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are right now. Don't let pain keep you out of life. Call them today, and when you do, they're going to get you fixed, and I'm sure you're going to want to thank me later.
The Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio.
Steps left, three, bang, 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 bang. Luka Doncic.
The Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves go head-to-head in Game 1.
If we continue to play Timberwolves basketball, it will fix a lot of problems that we may have with that team and what they do best. So I like our chances.
Game 1 of the Mavericks and Timberwolves.
Tonight, starting at 7, right here on your home for the NBA playoffs, 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I focus, that means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now during our Memorial Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed plus free home delivery when you add any base. Ends Memorial Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code Alamo for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code Alamo. Prize Picks fantasy. You're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code Alamo, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Do summer projects your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot. With free delivery on over 2 million items, you can make the most of summer grilling and dig into gardening. Plus, get same-day delivery on thousands of products like power tools and storage to tackle any last-minute garage project. Summer your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for my good friends at Connecticut. You know, living in South Texas, growing up in San Antonio, it's been a great place to be because, well, we love the land, we love the people, and boy, do we love our water. That aquifer water, it makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer, but I'll tell you what comes out of the ground we do not want in our glasses, and that's where Connecticut comes in. The finest water treatment system you can get around these parts. Designed and built in the United States, it is made in America for you, San Antonio, for me. I've been a Connecticut customer for years, and now's the chance for you to be one. one without any risk. Call Kinetico today at 656-PURE. That's 656-PURE. And the good folks at Kinetico are going to come out to your home, put one in your house for the next 90 days. So you can find out what the rest of us already know, that we have a water softener designed and made with South and San Antonio in mind. Call Kinetico today at 656-PURE. Get a Kinetico in your home for the next 90 days. You're going to be like me, a Kinetico customer. You know what you're going to do? You're going to thank me later.
KineticoSA.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yeah. Feel that? Yeah, you do.
Feel something.
It is the Morning Huddle. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. We got to give away another chance to go to ACL. 3-day wristbands we're giving away. We got you covered, baby. For the rest of the week, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 here on this little radio program. Or you could listen to the afternoon show if you want. You can get qualified to win a pair of 3-day wristbands for week 2. One winner from each show is going to be chosen at random at the end of the week, and you could win.
You could.
3-day weekend up at ACL. And if you don't win, you can always buy them. ACLfest.com. Simple as that. What do we want to do to give these away? And by the way, 9:30 we'll give them away on the old brigade board or brigade bar. I always say board, not bar.
Close.
The same thing, right?
I don't think anybody even noticed.
Who's counting? Who is counting? I got one. In the closeout game for the Dallas Mavericks, Game 6, they beat the Thunder. And no surprise, Luka led the team with 29 points. Kyrie had 22. One other member of the Dallas Mavericks had 22 points. Someone who doesn't typically score 22 points. You call in and give his name, and boom, you're registered to win. Just like that. So simple. We try to make it easy for you. All right, let's go to the phone. The Buyers Barricade guest line. Look at that. You see what I just did there, Rob?
Radio
You didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I did it. And talk to Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. Hello, Dr. Garrett.
How are you doing?
We're doing well, sir. We're doing well. I wanted to ask you about Aaron Rodgers because we see him running around on TV. He looks like he's getting around pretty well. One of the thoughts I had about his injury compared to, say, like a Kirk Cousins, like, because there's people who are saying, well, Kirk's going to be able to, he'll be just fine. Is there something to the idea that Aaron Rodgers, the injury he had, his Achilles injury, is on his plant leg, excuse me, on his landing leg and not his drive leg? Like the front leg when you throw feels like that'd be an easier injury to overcome than the leg that you're pushing off with. Am I wrong in that, or is it equal for these two injuries?
No, you're 100% right. The way most people tear their Achilles tendon is when they step back. Like even on basketball players, they step back to do like a chest pass or they step back to move. It's that rapidly stretching of it on the back foot and then contracting it again. It's that transition between the two. And if you don't time it just right and you overload it, it can explode. So if you're a quarterback, your back foot on your throwing arm is going to be a lot more under stress from an Achilles tear than your front foot. Your front foot's not going to really have any issues unless you have a random weird incident like he had where he was tackled in just the wrong position while he was contracting the muscle. He also did a lot of stem cells. He did some stuff up in Austin with this company that I know pretty well, which is why he was able to come back so fast from an Achilles tear last year. He was ready to play basically 3 months to 4 months out, which typically you're nowhere near ready to play until 6 months, and then you're still not good. He was actually 3 or 4 months ahead of schedule because some of the stuff he was doing.
That's Dr. Jason Garrett of Arasti. And when we watch him kind of run around, and there's obviously a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up, I mean, how much can we logically expect him to improve from what we see what we saw yesterday. There's mobility, but you can see there's a bit of a gait issue. Is that going to clear up over time, or is this just the way he's going to move till he retires?
Well, he is 40 years old,
Right.
so he's never going to move really well. And it might not just be the Achilles. It might just be the accumulation of playing football for so long that he's going to be pretty stiff. Now, you get in a game situation, adrenaline really kicks in. A lot of that stuff goes away, and you can be magical for a little while. After the game, he's going to be in misery. Before the game, misery. All week, miserable. During the game, I would expect, as long as he doesn't hurt himself, he's probably going to move pretty well. But I wouldn't expect him to stay at a high level throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
Now, what's the probability or possibility of re-aggravation? Is this like I'm guessing they wouldn't put him out there with the investment they've got in him if they didn't feel like it was minimized. But once you do something like this, how often does it lead to a reoccurrence?
They're actually pretty rare to re-tear your Achilles tendon. And a lot of it's because your body's more aware of it. You're not going to put yourself in the same situation again. Now, being 40 years old, the Achilles tendon is just a very sensitive structure to begin with, because over time, tendons become more fibrotic, your patella, your Achilles tendon. So is he likely to re-injure it? He's a lot more likely to re-injure it than a 25-year-old, but no more likely than a 40-year-old, if that makes sense.
Now, also fibrotic.
When you talk about like you said, the tendon itself, did they sew up the tendon that he had, or did they fully replace it like you would with an ACL?
So you can't really replace an Achilles tendon. What they do is they pull it down, they resuture it, put it back together. It also scars to itself. So it scars to the soleus muscle, which is that muscle underneath the big ball gastroc muscle. And when it scars down there, it creates like a pseudo tendon, which functions pretty much like a regular tendon. Actually, right now, most people, when they tear their Achilles tendon, unless you're a super high-end athlete, the odds of a full recovery are the exact same doing nothing or doing surgery. You're about 90% improved at 6 months, which is, without the downside and the risk of surgery and the cost.
Interesting. Okay, so you brought it up, the soleus muscle. And that's part of the Kristaps Porzingis issue. He's dealing with a soleus muscle strain that's kept him out for weeks. I see that, and we're still waiting on him to come back. And I see that Tank Dell's coming back after getting shot 3 weeks ago. What is it about the soleus muscle that is keeping him out for so long?
Well, it is intimately involved with your Achilles tendon. So if you do have a soleus injury, a lot of times it puts your Achilles under more stress, because your Achilles is made up of your soleus and your gastroc. It's also a postural muscle, so it's made for stability. It's made for endurance. It's not made for explosiveness. So when it's injured, it just takes a little longer to heal, whereas your really fast twitch muscles, your explosive ones, they tend to heal a little faster. The longer postural ones just take more time, based on the type of muscle cells are in there.
And I guess that's why, like Kevin Durant, he had a calf injury, thought it was recovered, then it becomes a full-blown Achilles thing. Those things can, if you don't take care of them, they can often escalate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, especially if you're taking anti-inflammatory medicine, which I worked in the NBA for a little while, and basically every trainer's cabinet is full of anti-inflammatory medicine, because it shuts off the healing process. So if you get a little bit of an injury, you take that anti-inflammatory, now you're not actually healing because it shuts that off, but you don't feel pain. So you're constantly creating a little more of an injury every single day, which puts you more likely to tear something like a patella or an Achilles tendon.
I think that bears saying again, that when you take an anti-inflammatory, by its nature, it is stunting the healing process.
Absolutely. Inflammation is a cardinal part of healing. If you stop that, so for example, if you're like recreational, all the people listening right now, if you're taking Advil every single day for aches and pains, that is not meant to be taken every day. You take that when you have acute inflammation that is too painful to do things, really no more than 3 to 5 days. Anything longer than that, you're doing more likely permanent harm. You're also hurting your kidneys and your cardiovascular system. So if you're out there taking NSAIDs, Advil, ibuprofen every single day, you may want to reconsider that.
Go see a Rosti.
Is drinking a gallon jug filled with vodka okay as long as you pour some Gatorade in it, or is that do you think that's bad for you?
Over what time frame are we talking?
Over like
daily?
a day party. Like if you had, this is like, in one day you would drink this, you would drink a fifth of vodka mixed with some Gatorade and then top it off with water.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. I think that'd be bad for most people.
Okay.
Long term, even short term.
Even with the Gatorade, huh?
Even with the extra electrolytes.
Even with the Gatorade.
Man.
Okay, I want to play Stump the Doc.
Okay.
And very rarely have I been able to do this. Max Scherzer is dealing with a neurogenic thoracic outlet syndrome in his throwing arm. What is that?
All right, so you've got all the nerves that come out of your neck. They go down into your shoulder and they innervate your arm. For various reasons, you can irritate some of those nerves either in your neck, in your shoulder, or somewhere down your hand. And it causes, every time you throw or you lengthen your arm and stretch those nerves, it causes like a funny bone feeling in your entire arm. So it feels like nerve damage or neurogenic. They got to figure out, is it coming from his thoracic outlet area, which is the area under your collarbone? Is it coming from your neck, or is it coming from somewhere in your shoulder? That's typically what causes that.
Yikes.
Well, Dr. Garrett, we appreciate the time as always, my friend, and thank you for giving us these updates. And now I know I'm not going to drink my gallon jug this weekend. I was planning on it, but you've convinced me. Now that a doctor said it, I'm just gonna stay away. Thank you for the time, good sir.
Take care, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
That was Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti, and of course he appeared courtesy of the Buyers Barricade guest line.
Dude, Max Scherzer. He's not going to be. That is the craziest, longest name for funny bone tickling.
Yeah. Toughen up.
I think Rangers might be in trouble with old Max.
Toughen up, Max. They gave him a lot of money.
Syndrome.
I was asking you, what happened to Evan Carter? Why does he suck now?
It's that second-year curse.
Man, he does suck. They don't even let him hit against lefties. Dude's hitting like 205 or something. Like
Joe Boo won't allow him.
Yeah, get that dude out there. Let's see what he can do,
that
Bubba.
Rum. The curveball's getting him.
Maybe he needs a Borg.
A little shot of Borg.
Captain Borgen would fix him up right, maybe. Captain
Borg.
Borgen. It's so great.
Borgen Whalen, I think, is my favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like our Borgen savior.
Kids today.
These wacky kids.
They are so witty.
When you go home, I want you to ask your son if he's ever had a Borg.
What's your Borg bottle name?
Well, have you ever put down a Borg?
Borgen David?
And you know what they call this is another thing that I read in that story, what they call day parties? Darties.
I've heard that term.
I hadn't.
Yeah, have yourself a dart.
Did you hear it from your son?
Yeah, of course. All things cool I've heard from my son.
He's got to know what a Borg is then.
I'm pretty sure he's fully aware. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I funded a Borg.
I wonder if my kid knows about Borgs.
Well, does he have a device? Does he have access to the internet, the inner tubes?
He does.
Then he does.
Damn.
Sadly, the portal to all things good and bad. Think of how screwed up you'd have been if you'd have had as much ready access to porn as our kids do.
Oh man!
If I'd have had the access to porn,
I understand why they
12.
Yeah, I understand why they worry. Like
I'm screwed up, and I can't imagine having that.
Yeah, it's hard enough hiding a nudie mag from your mom.
I got good at following the wiggly lines. I could discern a scrambled pattern, and there's people who know what I'm talking about pretty well.
When I was in 10th grade, someone passed me a folder in Spanish class.
Oh,
that had a it had a Pamela Anderson Playboy in it. And at the time, Pamela Anderson might have she was basically Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, she was.
And when I passed it back, the guy dropped it.
So you were caught by Miss what was her name? What was your Spanish
I don't even
teacher?
remember.
Was it a ma'am?
It was a ma'am.
Senora?
It was a ma'am. It was a big fat lady.
Senora.
But
Gordita.
Me and the guy who I was passing it to both got in trouble, even though he dropped it. It was his nudie mag.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily taken one for the team. He chose not to. So I had to go down.
Kids are mostly rats. Well, they'll turn on you. Kids are. I mean, that's all,
Not
better that
you
than
know
a
what?
beating.
That's only I've got 2 Pamela Anderson magazine stories. The other one happened at Hastings. Did you guys
the
have
record
Hastings?
shop? Yeah, man.
So this is going to sound, I was a bad kid. I did a lot of dumb things when I was a kid. The one thing I didn't do was shoplift. I was scared to shoplift. And this is like, I got arrested in high school for breaking into a theater. Like I did a bunch of dumb things. I would not shoplift because I felt like somebody was watching me. I didn't know. I didn't have the balls to do it. But I had a buddy who was like, I'm going to take this nudie mag. It was like it was a Pamela Anderson, like a special edition, and it was like 60 pages of nothing but nudie
a
Pam.
Playboy.
And we were at Hastings, and he took out. There was like there was a little thing in there, like the thing
Like
that
a
would
coat
send
thing,
off the
yeah.
alarm. He peeled it off, and he put it in the back of his pants. And we walked out, and I walked out first, and he was behind me, and the alarm went off.
Did you run?
No.
See?
He froze though. I wasn't taking anything. I didn't have to run. But what I did do was stand. I like stopped and pretended. I was like, oh, what's that? I thought that
Oopsies.
I was blocking the exit for the cashier. Had he tried to get him, but my buddy just froze. He couldn't go. And he got busted. And he had his mom had to come pick him up from Hastings.
Did he turn to a life of crime? Did it ruin him?
No, now he's a pharmacist, I think.
See, well, look what happened.
His life turned out okay, but at the
He's
time,
dealing drugs, man.
He is. Now he's slinging dope. Slinging dope.
Corner.
But yeah, at the time, imagine your mom has to come pick you up, and you say, yeah.
Yeah, well, my mother had to pick me up at some awful places too.
But with a nudie mag, hey, Mrs. Thompson, we caught your son stealing this pornography.
He should have taken the one from his father. He should have gone into his dad's closet and taken one of
Now,
his.
it's a different story for a different time, but my dad had to come get me once from jail when I was, I think, 16. And I had been wearing a bunny costume, like a giant yellow bunny costume. It's not that funny, Vic. It's not funny. But explaining to my dad why I was in a bunny costume when he picked me up was...
It wasn't so much the costume, it was where you were wearing it.
It was difficult. So, but again...
I don't even know where it was. Where were you wearing a bunny costume?
Well, I had broken into a theater.
In a bunny costume?
No, I found wasn't like a movie theater. This was a play theater where they did acting performances. And I found it in the costume room. And of course, I was high on marijuana at the time. And I thought, it'd be really funny is if I put on this bunny suit. And then apparently someone saw us in this building. It was on a snow day at school. And someone saw us in the building, called the police, and sure enough, got arrested. Not a great thing.
For unlicensed acting?
Yeah. Congratulations to, is it Tarek or Tariq? Tarek? I don't know. Tarek Aga?
Aga. Yeah, that's
Congratulations, Tarek.
Tarek. He is registered. We'll do one more, and it'll be for the Brigade Bar at 9:30. So tell your friends you want to win. Get on at 9:30. We're trying to give away these ACL tickets. We got a fun last hour planned for you, including some discussion about the Jag Stadium and the Spurs. I want to know if Rob is right. Like, when the Spurs have a rumor, does that mean it's automatically BS? It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
On this day in history, American comedian Johnny Carson made his final appearance as host of The Tonight Show in 1992. And on this day in history, owner of GiveMeTheVin.com, John Clay Wolfe, went for a ride with Jay Leno on Jay Leno's Garage.
There is a difference between a good one and a bad one, but they're all worth something. We're the Amazon now of car buyers, and we want to buy yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Get ready, San Antonio. Baseball Express and Team Express are hosting the event of the season. Stop by 1003 East Nakoma for a chance to pop a balloon and get up to 100% off your purchase, up to $500. Only 250 balloons are available, so come early. Baseball Express and Team Express have gear for every sport, team uniforms, and top brand apparel. Clearance items up to 60% off. Use code CTE10 for an extra 10% off. Team Express, all sports, all the time. Visit teamexpress.com for more details.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 125 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. No application fee if you apply by May 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Get to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale and get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700 and get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses, all with free and fast delivery. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
Score a trip for 4 to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs continued as the Boston Celtics escape in an overtime win versus the Indiana Pacers in Game 1, 133-128. The Western Conference Finals start tonight. Luka Doncic and the Mavs head to Minnesota to take on Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Tip-off set for 7:30. It's a game you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Pre-game starting at 7. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Bump. Thank you, voice guy. It is San Antonio Sports Star. It is the Morning Huddle on here on 94.1. The Jacksonville Jags, the Jaguars, as they call them in Britain.
where they should be playing all of their games. But
well, you'd think that they'd be building a new stadium there.
Yeah.
But apparently they're trying to build a new stadium in Jacksonville, of all places. The Jags and the city of Jacksonville have put out a plan where they are going to spend $1.4 billion on what they're calling the Stadium of the Future. I know.
Well.
City Council has to vote on its half of the financing, which would be done by moving $600 million from a capital improvement plan and an existing half-penny sales tax.
Okay.
And no new taxes would be implemented. But the city did just take like over $1 million, like $1.2 million away from public education, schools.
Yeah.
And now that doesn't
Schools
seem.
don't feed the bulldog. Seriously though, pay very close attention to how they're securing funding, because they're about 6 months ahead of where San Antonio is, as far as, or maybe about a year ahead, as far as where we are in preparation for a stadium. And hey, look at how Florida and how they're funding it, because if it's worked and it works amongst the populace, I'm sure that the Spurs and them that are behind that are going to mimic whatever's been successful to go squeeze money from us, because the more we will give, the less they have to spend.
How does San Antonio do in revenue, like relative to the league?
Keep in mind accounting tricks. You know, I've been told for many years that the Spurs didn't turn a profit till the playoffs, that they had to have that playoff gate to turn a profit, which was lies. They're as financials, their financials are as competitive as anybody, but all of the middling teams are dealing with that issue of channel delivery for their games, that the Bally system. And until they get that rectified, they're still going to have some questions about revenue.
The Jags have been like in the bottom quartile in revenue, like basically since their existence began, which is why they play in London every year, because that makes them enough money to, stay afloat. Their lease runs through 2029. When did the Spurs, what's their lease run through? Their
Right,
current
about the same. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because Florida's got a couple of these things going on right now, because the Rays, they're really up against it. The Rays lease at Tropicana ends in 2027, and they still don't have anything going yet.
Nobody cares in Tampa, though, man.
It's
they just
funny.
don't care.
Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't get it that people don't care, but it seems like a baseball, they care about baseball.
Well,
they just
they're
don't
all
care about
from
their
other
local
places.
team.
Having spent some time in the Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete region. Everybody in Tampa and St. Pete's from someplace else. They brought
they're
their
all Yankees
fandom.
fans.
Well, yeah, they brought their fandom down with them. And whenever the Yankees or the Mets or the Sox or Philly or any of those teams show up, yeah, they're selling tickets, but they're wearing the wrong colors.
But it says here that in Jacksonville, construction would begin in following the 2025 season. They would play in 2026. Their home games would either be in Gainesville or Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Or they talked about doing Daytona Beach Speedway, but they I guess they decided that that's not going to work.
That was idiotic.
But the deal with this and the reason why Jacksonville wants to get this done is because the proposal includes a 30-year lease, which would include a non-relocation clause, which means the Jags could keep playing one game a year in London, but not move full time.
The same principle applies to the Spurs right now. To break the lease, the poison pill is so big as far as the cost to get out of the lease, it's just not worth it. And Jacksonville's trying to build that in.
That's what they're trying to do. Now, will when the Spurs build the new arena, will they have the same thing?
They better. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if there is one public dollar in there, you are linked to that Spur ownership until that building is paid off. However that takes, until we own it free and clear, you can't go anywhere. And we'll add 10 more into that. So yeah, there'll be a pill built in. You don't leave if we build it.
Yeah, and the Jags are, the thing would say, well, and this the mayor of Jacksonville says we love being an NFL city.
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to spend a lot of money, but we can build this stadium or we can lose the team. And she said, that's not going to happen while I'm the mayor. This is important to Jacksonville. She understands the idea that they could end up in London. And I think San Antonio, they understand the idea that there are suitors for this team.
Absolutely.
Including one right up the road that would gladly, build a facility for this team to play in. San Antonio doesn't want that, obviously. So they want to, everybody's looking to find a way to get things done. It's harder than it seems, man.
I'm just going to be very curious. And it sounds like the mayor of Jacksonville says the same things that either our current mayor or the mayor that will be in office when this kind of comes to fruition, because we're going to lose. He'll be limited out. Say the same things. I mean, we're a Spurs city. They're part of who we are. And as such, we're willing to invest an appropriate amount. But for that investment, there are certain expectations. And one of them will be you stay here and you offer us as many home games as possible. And, we've built in the fact that we're already losing 4 home games. I mean, we're already giving them up. And you talk about the revenue per game and the cost for, putting on games. That's a huge thing to say. You know what? We're going to build this stadium and we're going to fund all that. But, this $8 million a night that we're giving up, we're going to let that go to Austin, so there's some tricky things. And as Jacksonville has to deal with the London thing, like we have to deal with Austin, I'm paying really close attention to how they sell this product to their fans, to the general Jacksonville electorate. How are they going to impress upon them that you're going to have to give up millions of dollars for a building you might not ever even walk into?
Yeah. Jags ownership. Construction cost overruns, assume day-to-day operations of the stadium, and take on the majority of game day expenses moving forward, which, that helps a lot too.
Yeah,
if the owner says, hey,
a partnership,
we'll take on this money. Now, the future stadium, it says, is going to be 63,000 seats.
That's about right.
It's an open-air stadium, but it would include a translucent covering.
Ooh.
That's the equivalent of wearing shades in the sun.
Ooh.
It's expected to lower outside temperatures by about 15 degrees.
The Ray-Ban Dome, the Costa del Mar.
That is interesting. Capacity could be expanded to 71,000 to accommodate the Florida-Georgia game, the Gator Bowl, a college football playoff game, a Final Four basketball tournament.
All of that.
But the city and the Jags hope to add development around the area, which is expected to include a University of Florida satellite campus. So they're trying to build up that area. The problem is Jacksonville is not a great town.
It really is.
Like there's not a lot of reason to go to Jacksonville. Like it's
on the Atlantic. It's not the best beaches in Florida. It's on the wrong side. And if you're going through Jacksonville, you're headed to better places in South Carolina,
Yeah. Or you're in Jacksonville. It's kind of like South Georgia, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It's that part of Florida, which is not the romantic part of Florida. There's no sandy beaches there. It's it's kind of a redneck town, but this stadium is something they think can kind of bring them into the future. But yeah, I think this is something to keep an eye on if you're a Spurs fan. See how this thing gets handled. Now, it helps that the Jags have one of the wealthiest owners in football.
Absolutely. And there's the NFL has a vested interest in finding a city that will put up with the fact that they're going to lose their team for several months a year, for several games a year, that they're willing to put up with the fact that they'll fund and build the building and do all that stuff. And oh, by the way, in November, they're all going to leave. And there's not a lot of cities that will put up with that. So I think the NFL has a vested interest in helping Jacksonville get down the road. And I think Khan understands that.
Yeah. Shahid Khan worth $12.2 billion.
And people see him and they think he's an auto parts magnate from Minneapolis. He didn't start with anything. He just started a business and became a billionaire. He's just a regular dude.
I think he also owns like a pro wrestling company.
His son runs
okay.
We had him on during the Super Bowl. We had a chance to meet him. And one of the things that Khan has invested in is the stat service that the NFL uses.
But the dad owns the wrestling, right?
Or and his son runs it.
Okay.
And also they own Man City, one of the big soccer ownership too, and his son helps to run that as well.
Good for them. Good for them. Wish I had extra dough to just buy a random European soccer club.
Just play around in Jacksonville and build the Stadium of Tomorrow.
That's what they're gonna do. But again, we'll see if that ends up happening. It's all on the table right now, but as we've talked about here, sometimes stuff gets in the way. And Jacksonville, much like San Antonio, has a very, very viable backup plan. Or I shouldn't say Jacksonville. The Jags have a very, very viable backup plan, and probably want. Now, this is, I don't know if the NBA would prefer the Spurs be in Austin.
I think that they would love to have the idea of Austin attached to the Spurs. Austin's cool. If you talk about the rest of the world and what do you think of Texas? Austin is cool, and San Antonio has the Alamo.
Yeah. But I'm sure the NBA wouldn't mind the idea of a shared team, or if it was like somewhere in the middle and it was like a Metroplex type team, which
I don't think that, at that point, they don't care as long as Austin is mentioned, as long as there's the cool factor. Where you build the stadium, they don't care because guys in New York are never coming. But
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Anaheim would prefer to be the Anaheim Angels, but Major League Baseball likes it to be the Los Angeles Angels.
Where the hell is Anaheim?
You're right. But I do think that there's a world where the NFL would prefer Jacksonville not get this deal done. They would prefer the Jags be in London
forced out
full time.
They had no recourse. That's where they had.
And it'd be like, man, we wish Jacksonville could have kept them, but because obviously you'd rather be in London. You mentioned Austin's reputation versus San Antonio. How about London versus Jacksonville, Florida? You know what I mean? There's a pretty big difference there, the way they're perceived. Probably more than the Austin San Antonio gap of perception. But I'm interested to see how this plays out, because I do think it could kind of be a precursor to what happens here in San Antonio.
I found it interesting about the open air idea versus closed in Jacksonville, and obviously it should be open, but if you have aspire to host a Super Bowl, which obviously they will, and if you build a new stadium in the NFL, eventually you get the Super Bowl. Shouldn't every Super Bowl be indoor? Should be in an indoor facility? Do we ever want a Super Bowl decided by rain or snow ever again?
I think it should at least be a retractable.
Yeah, something covered. I don't the translucent, whatever, it works for me. But I think that there should be a rule in place that if you build a new stadium and you want a Super Bowl, it has to be covered. We're not going to play any open air games ever again.
Which it's funny because the stadium in LA, they consider it open air,
but it's not. It's
covered.
Yeah, it's covered.
It does have open air, flowing through it, which is nice.
But there's no shade issues. There's no sun or rain coming down.
Yeah. That's kind of, if you want a Super Bowl, you kind of do have to. But again, do we want a Super Bowl in Jacksonville?
Well, the rule of thumb in the NFL, especially, is if you build it, you get one. Now, Jacksonville, I'm not sure they have all the infrastructure to support but they're certainly going to tell you they do.
Of course they will, yeah.
And they're going to get in suddenly to that line of that San Antonio stands in. We use our dome. We know there's no NFL team, but they talked about Final Fours, and if they get in that line, that's to the detriment of San Antonio, because that's what's kept us going.
But it says Final Four. I don't think they can do a Final Four in an open air stadium either.
No, that's why they have to have that closed air, translucent kind of idea.
But does that keep out the rain? I don't know.
No.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be open air.
It's the sunglass idea. You have to have the reflective blue mirror on top.
All right, let's hit a break. On the other side, let's talk about Stephen Castle, and the idea of him coming to the Spurs. You said something to me the first week I was here that if something leaks about the Spurs plans, it's probably nonsense. Don't believe it. I'm going to ask you if this is the same thing. We'll talk about that on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is day 2 of OTAs for the Dallas Cowboys. You think maybe CD or Micah might show up for day 2?
No, it's still voluntary.
Come on.
We'll talk about game 1 of the Western Conference Finals that gets underway tonight. React to what we saw in the East Finals. Plus, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Kick off the summer with Family Dollar. Find what you need for warm weather fun, from disposable plates, hot dogs and grilling essentials, to sunscreen, bug repellent, and more. Stop by today to see how you can save at Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Nigel, what are you doing with all this stuff in the break room? It looks like a farmer's market in here.
I'm changing my eating habits, embracing good quality nutrition with fresh produce.
Folks, maintaining a healthy AC system is just like maintaining a healthy diet. Let's make sure your system is clean and efficient. Nigel, that's a pretty impressive healthy salad you assembled.
Thanks, Joel. Now step back. The grease is hot.
Grease?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 88589E M16004.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Do summer projects your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot. With free delivery on over 2 million items, you can make the most of summer grilling and dig into gardening. Plus, get same-day delivery on thousands of products like power tools and storage to tackle any last-minute garage project. Summer your way with Memorial Day savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hats off to all the 2024 graduates, whether they're stepping into the next chapter of their lives or reaching a significant milestone. They deserve something extraordinary. At Diamonds Direct, you can shop for gifts under $1,000. From stunning diamond pieces to timeless pearls, this selection is the perfect way to recognize their dedication and success. Each piece is crafted with care and attention to detail, making it the perfect way to commemorate their graduation day. Consider a dazzling birthstone pendant showing off the qualities that make them who they are. Or perhaps classic diamond studs to complement the graduation attire and serve as a lasting reminder of this achievement. At Diamonds Direct, we understand the importance of honoring milestones, and we are here to help you find the perfect gift. This graduation season, let Diamonds Direct be your partner in celebrating their journey. Diamonds Direct, where milestones shine brighter. Explore our grad gifts in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics:
my elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for my favorite game app. It is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Heck, I'm just one of 3 million active users. They're the easiest to play. They're the most exciting way to play your daily fantasy sports. And it's unlike other apps. On Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're a fantasy player. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. Up to 100 times your money according to how you play it. $1,000 on basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries. Today is the time to play. You can turn $10 into big money quick. The biggest moments in professional basketball are happening right now, and it's no fun unless you're playing. Go to Prize Picks right now and remember the code ALAMO for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's the code ALAMO. Prize Picks. Fantasy, you're playing already. Go win. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the code ALAMO, and up to $100 deposit match is coming. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Bum, 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 bum. It is the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. That's right, baby. We are going to give away the last chance to win ACL wristbands today. We'll do it 6 more times throughout the week, but we're going to have 9 out of our 15 registered. And this one we're going to do on the Brigade Bar. So you got to be in the YouTube chat if you want the chance to win or to register to win. We'll do that next segment here on our little radio program. The rumors are flying about what the Spurs want to do with this pick, or with these picks, I should say.
Number 4, number 8.
Number 4, number 8. The idea that Stephen Castle is now like at the top of their list. Kelly Eco says, or Kelly Iko or Eco, I never know. We say his name all the time on the on my podcast. I never knew what it was. But he says that he is at the top of the Spurs list. They are big fans of his. It doesn't seem out of this world. He's a good shooter. He's a good defensive player. Probably one of the better backcourt defenders in this draft. The question is, does he want to be a point guard? And the Spurs would obviously prefer him to be one.
Mm-hmm.
But the question was, is that what you want to do in the NBA? He came out and said, this is what I want. I want to be looked at as a floor general. There's a lot that I haven't been able to showcase. He was sort of he was asked to do a lot of scoring for his team in college. So in the 1 year he was there. But he thinks in the NBA, he does. I'm not a combo guard. I'm a point guard. I'm a point guard who can score if you need me to, but I'm a point guard. This feels like the right fit. The thing is, you told me if something leaks about the Spurs, you probably want to believe the opposite. But if you told me the Spurs are going to be interested in a 6'6" defensive-minded point guard, I'd be like, yeah.
Well, of course they are.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's not. I mean, every NBA team is high on Stephen today. Stephen Castle is the only lead guard in this draft. I mean, seriously, that can be considered with with a lottery pick grade. And his stock, if he's there at 4, yeah, I think anybody would like to have Stephen. That's not a rumor coming out of San Antonio. That's every NBA team that's going to work out Stephen Castle is going to go, we really like this guy, and there's a lot to like. So I first of all, can we believe the rumor? That's not coming out of San Antonio. That's every scout that has watched Stephen Castle practice. And we know that he's going to go up the board. And I don't believe he'll be there at 4. And if he is there at 4, I think the Spurs could have a legitimate conversation of whether it should be Toppich or it should be Castle, if that's what they're looking for. I will say this, AJ. I firmly believe that point guards are born, not made. And you can't create one. You can give a guy who likes to score some more avenues to pass. And you can give some passers more avenues to score, but passers pass and scorers score. And you can try to change the two, but it's really difficult this far down the line. So if the Spurs think they're going to bring in a some kind of pass first, that's not Castle. It never will be. And I don't think Pop wants that anyway. But don't think that he would come in and say, I'm just going to be a point guard. You're a lead guard, dude. Let's not change your spots, man. That's why you're this good.
The rumor is that Castle may not be willing to do pre-draft workouts for teams who already have a starting point guard in place.
Well, we don't have one, so you can come on over.
And they say that means there's teams like the Hornets at 6, the Blazers at 7, the Grizzlies at 9.
But they're not going to draft
who he'd not be interested in. But that doesn't affect the Spurs.
No.
What does is Atlanta at number 1, who currently has, unless Trae Young's gone, they currently have a point guard. Washington at number 2 has Tyus Jones. I can't imagine they're married to Tyus Jones to the point where Castle would be like,
that's why I think he lands in Washington, man. I don't see how they let this guy go by.
I think it'd be crazy if they did. The other team is Houston, who Fred VanVleet is like. I think he's. I don't think they. I think he's their point guard right now. They invested in him.
You got enough kids. You don't need a Stephen Castle pushing for.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think having VanVleet is kind of what gave Houston a bit of a bump this year because it's an adult in the room. But if you can get him past Washington, I think he's a real possibility for San Antonio.
I don't think anybody anywhere would be upset with that pick.
And I like him. I still say my ideal fit would be Donovan Clingan. But if you walk away with either one of those Connecticut guys, I'm real happy if I'm a Spurs fan. I really am.
I'm not sure he answers the entire point guard question. I think that it will leave some lingering issues because, Spurs, when they went and got DeJounte, and keep in mind, DeJounte had a hell of a rookie year. He was a rookie, all-rookie NBA team, defensive type. And, he never really, even you just now said, Atlanta's got a point guard. It's Trey. Well, really, it's DeJounte. But people, he's a lead guard, and he never really, you're always going to get a little of both with him. And I think that's going to be Castle. That's not a problem by any stretch, but he's not going to be the TJ McConnell, I'd much rather you shoot than me kind of guy.
I think it's more of like a Chris Paul, and particularly like a late.
That's the ideal scenario. Though,
yeah, where it's you can do whichever you want to do, whichever you need me to do, I can do it. If in one game you need me to do it, great. For a season you need me to do it, I can do whatever.
Yeah, man, draft a Hall of Famer, you can do it.
You're right. He doesn't fix the whole problem, but it does some combination of Trey Jones, Vassell, and Cass do enough backcourt minutes that. I think so.
That's not the championship formula.
No, but that's
the strong
to get
will
you
survive.
through another year.
I don't think anybody would. If the Spurs walked away with Stephen Castle, we're high-fiving. I mean, I don't care whether you get him at 4 or 8. You get this guy who probably has the highest ceiling of anybody under 6'8" in this draft. High fives all around, man. Success warranted. Nobody's upset with this at all.
I think the goal is, in my opinion, going to be whoever you take with the 4th pick is the second piece. So it's what you're going to look at as, and not necessarily the second best player when you become a champion, but he's going to be number 2 or 3 when you finally get there. And the question is, will the last piece be a veteran piece, or will it be another piece you draft? If you go the Thunder route, which is what everybody says they want to do, they're going to draft it and it's going to be a slower burn. But if you do, if you go that other way and say, we're going to put a Siakam in here with Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner and try and go that route, I don't think anybody's mad at that. Or what Minnesota did, you draft Karl Anthony Towns number 1 overall, you draft Anthony Edwards number 1 overall, and you go out and you make a big splash trade for a guy like Rudy Gobert. No one's mad at that. I think the Spurs have some options, but I think the goal of this draft is to get a piece that is one of your top 3 pieces.
Yeah, to grow old with Wemby.
Yes.
This is your running mate. This is the guy have to pick.
Exactly.
And we're going to grow old together. And Castle feels like a dude that I would, and so does Topic. Don't get me wrong, but there's more offense coming from Castle than Topic will have to offer.
And this is maybe something that teams, particularly teams like San Antonio, who have done it a smart way and built teams the right way for a long time, may not want to hear this, but I believe that the Spurs should get input from Wembanyama on this pick. Like, I would want to know, hey, which one of these guys do you picture yourself playing with?
Now, as the GM, if you're Brian Wright and you got, a little bit of film on Castle, we got a freshman year in college and some summer league stuff that we can fall back on and some Team USA stuff that he had done. And he decides not to work out. Would that hurt?
No. You know why? Listen, you also have every NCAA tournament game because
and the crucible that was the tournament.
He went through all of them and he won. He's a winner. Like, this is a dude.
A couple years ago, the Spurs first round draft pick was Luka Samanic. This kid showed up at the combine, played exactly like one pickup game, and he played so well that his representation pulled him off the board. He didn't work out again. And the Spurs saw that brief little stuff and jumped on it, and it was an utter mistake, a calamity. I mean, they drafted the wrong cat. And were bailed out by Keldon at the end of the first round. And I hope they don't feel like once bitten, twice shy about these early workouts, because they didn't get a lot of workouts with him. They just went on an eye test and some history, and it didn't turn out at all.
You're going to have those for sure.
But I'd draft Castle, no question. Come on down, baby.
I think it's a lot easier to draft the guys who you have college film on than it is to draft a Euro that you haven't seen play a full season against, like caliber players. If you tell me, okay, I've seen this kid play a full season in the Big East and excel, that's enough for me.
That's as close to the NBA as there is in the Big East.
Yeah, I mean, it's a physical league. I worry some about if you say this guy played in the MAC. Okay, we'll see. But when you play big time college basketball, to me, Wemby was playing in a grown man's league over there in Europe too. But to me, I want to see how guys can play against peers, American basketball peers, and if they excel to that level, I feel good about it. I'll take much more from a season in the Big East than I will from a workout or two, personally. All right, let's hit our last break. When we come back, we're going to register that last winner for the wristbands, ACL wristbands, and we're going to go through the daily lines out in the desert. It is the Morning Huddle right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio.
Steps left, three, bang, 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 bang. Luka Doncic.
The Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves go head-to-head in Game 1.
If we continue to play Timberwolves basketball, it will fix a lot of problems that we may have with that team and what they do best. So I like our chances.
Game 1 of the Mavericks and Timberwolves.
Tonight, starting at 7, right here on your home for the NBA playoffs, 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
John, going on in the Wolfpack?
Kathy, what is the name of the couple?
It was Mark and Sheila.
Speech impediment Terrence. Please put together a quick marriage announcement for Mark and Sheila.
Oh my gosh.
Mark and Sheila. Don't be getting married.
Terrence, calm down.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagel here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 125 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. No application fee if you apply by May 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
We're David and Greg Figueroa, founders of Melinda's Hot Sauce. If we were a big corporate brand, we might hire a voice actor. But we're not, so we'll just tell you about our 41 unique flavors of Kraft Hot Sauce. Dude, we can talk about the way we balance heat with
the fresh flavor of real ingredients.
Wow, nice.
Set your mouth on flavor with Melinda's hot sauces. Find them at your local retailer or online at melindas.com. That's MELINDAS.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace.
If you've put off replacing windows because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door.
Just text BUY to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year.
That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month.
Text BUY to 200-300 right now. Text the word BUY to 200-300. Don't wait. Text BUY to 200-300.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, Jose, what's the first thing our listeners should do?
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google joegomezlaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really, anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
This Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All righty, it is the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm AJ Hoffman. He is Rob Thompson. Hola. We're getting you through this bad boy, baby. Feeling good. We come to the end of another day.
Well, for us.
For us. The Blitz, they got to work later on.
Man, we get more done before noon.
We were talking about the draft, and a recent mock draft came out this morning on ESPN, and it had the Spurs taking Rob Dillingham with their 4th pick, and Stephen Castle falling all the way to 10.
That list of talent looks like the top 10 available draft picks prior to the actual lottery drawing. There's now that we know the teams that are drafting, I think that list needs to change.
Here's what I'll say, and I've read this in multiple places, not just this one particular mock draft. It feels like Alex Sarr and this Zach Risache guy are widely regarded as 1 and 1A, and the Hawks are going to take one, and the Wizards are going to take whatever's left over of those two guys. And I'm perfectly fine with that. To me, that opens things up for the Spurs. That makes it more likely that they can get Castle, or they can get a Donovan Clingan, or a Dalton Connect, or
maybe it is Dillingham or Shepard. I mean, it might be.
Maybe so. But it does open the doors up a little bit, because I'll be honest, I don't want – this is going to sound nationalist, I think. I don't want another Euro to pair with Wemby. I want someone who I feel like has come up playing American hoop and has that mentality.
Keep going with this. What is the American mentality with basketball?
This is in a way, this is an anti-example, but you know how I was talking about Jason Tatum doesn't seem like he's got that thing that I'm looking for. And I've talked a lot about Anthony Edwards does have it. I want someone who's got some Anthony Edwards to him, who will, if you get rough in a pickup game, he will fight you. Like, he grew up throwing punches on a playground probably at one point.
We want players who have gotten scabs from the court and can make a jump shot on a rim without a net.
That's what I want.
That's what we're chasing. That's the American idea, is go get a bucket. Don't be a shooter. Don't be a basketball player. Go be a baller. And that's what Americans bring to the game. They're ballers.
When I lived out for a little bit in New Mexico, I moved. It's at like northwest corner.
I don't think people understand the mentality of New Mexico basketball. It is vastly underrated.
So what they call it up there is res ball, and it's
sacred hoops
near the it's the Navajo tribe loves the game of basketball, and they play literally on dirt, like packed hard dirt courts. And the rims they're usually pieces of iron that are like 18 by 18, and that's the backboard.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there as a spoiled kid, I had a really hard time playing pickup with these dudes because it's like,
yeah, it's a physical. You're playing with Kentucky windage. You got a weird rim, but buckets are made.
Yes, and they you quickly adapt, but there's something to it. If you come up playing hard ball, it grows you. And I don't think these guys playing in the French league have necessarily grown up hard. And I want someone who's got some dog in them is what I want. I want someone who had to play on asphalt at some point, and
swept the snow off the court.
Something like that. Yeah. Or, back in the day, like Larry Bird played on a rim. The rim on his barn was set at like 9 foot and 11 inches and whatever. I want something like that.
It's like our Team USA as far as soccer goes. We're never going to be that good because our guys didn't start the game playing with a rolled up sock and an open hole in a wall. These guys were given every opportunity, the very best. So there's something about the grittiness that you can't duplicate.
And not to say that Wemby's soft. I don't think he is, but I do think if you start building your team that way, you get a bunch of guys from the same kind of air.
He is soft. Now, Wemby's that's the hardest part for him was to figure out that the toughness involved in the game of basketball is well beyond just a hand check. It's a mentality that there's always an elbow in your back. There's always a knee in your thigh, no matter what, whether you're playing hard or not. In the Euros, they just play in a much more respectable, organized way.
That's what it feels like. So I'd like to add some dog to this team. Which means I'd like to add an American player, which again doesn't sound right. But
it could be a Euro playing in America. It's the American mentality.
Yeah. All right. I got to give away these ACL passes.
You must.
And I'm going to do it on the Brigade Bar. And by the way, this is a Spurs question. This is a Spurs history question. You think you know some Spurs history, Bubba? Let's find out. Let's find out right now. 1997.
Fine year.
The Spurs had the number 1 pick in the draft. They took a fella named Tim Duncan out of Wake Forest University. 2001, first round draft pick was number 28 overall from Paris Basket Racing in France. They took a guy named Tony Parker. Between 97 and 2001, they only had one first round pick that they actually used on draft day. I want to know who was that player that the Spurs took in the number 1 in the first round between when they took Tim Duncan in the first and when they took Tony Parker in the first. First person to put it up there on the Brigade board, you are going to be registered to go to ACL Fest Week 2. We're giving away 3-day wristbands. And if you don't get in today, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 tomorrow, you'll have chances again. You'll have them all at the bottom of the hour during the Blitz as well. And we're going to pick one winner from each show, going to be chosen at random by the end of the week to win a pair of 3-day weekend wristbands to Week 2. And if you don't win, you can always buy them at aclfest.com. So a lot of people throwing guesses out there. None of them right. So is this a tough question?
Kind of.
Not a guy you really
you don't really associate, but he was here. Stayed a minute.
He was here for a minute.
Had a minute.
And he was I guess he wasn't American, but he played American collegiate basketball. And there we go.
We have a winner.
S Money 11 gets the job done. S Money 11, call into Vic. You are the winner, Felipe Lopez.
The finest high school basketball player the world had ever seen, according to Sports Illustrated when he came up.
Was he really?
Yeah, Felipe was the next, baby. He came out and he was the next New York point guard. He was following the Marbury and just the sheer number.
He was
of
supposed to be that.
He was that guy, cover of Sports Illustrated. He was the next.
And that was before he went to St. John's. He was on that cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember him in college being like that was the. And did he didn't ever play for the Spurs, did he?
Came around for a cup of coffee. No, this was an era where when Pop was a point guard killer. And just if you had a little bit of point guard resume, you were brought in, but very quickly killed.
It says here, Lopez selected by the Spurs with the 24th pick, immediately traded along with Carl Herrera for Antonio Daniels.
And the rest is history. Good Antonio comes to town and get another ring.
Well, there you go. So there you go. Lopez, a career average 5.8 points per game for the best high school player in the history of time, according to Sports Illustrated.
At least at that point.
Shows what they know. All right, let's take a look out at the desert and see what's happening in Vegas. Take a look at the daily lines, baby.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And let's start in the association where the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks tip off game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Timberwolves 4-point favorites. Couple 4.5 starting to pop up.
Mine popped up at 4.5. And
this thing opened at 3. So there is Timberwolf support. What says Rob Thompson? Game 1.
Oh man, a roadie.
Game 1. Do you believe the Mavs can hang in there? Or do the Timberwolves come out and make a statement?
Man, I like the Timberwolves here. I think this could go 7, but I just think
I think home is going to matter.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I like the Timberwolves here. Yesterday, I said I normally don't like to play overs in conference finals. I said yesterday was an exception. It didn't even need overtime, but it was a smorgasbord of points. Here we're looking at 207 as the total. I'm going to go under. I like under 207.
I like under 2, and my
rock
gut
fight, baby.
feels like Minnesota might be able to get some buckets, but I still think under. I think the pace is going to be awfully slow.
That is what I believe as well. The Eastern Conference Finals in the Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley Cup playoffs begin tonight with the Florida Panthers against the New York Rangers. Florida, a -110 roadie favorite, opened as +102 dogs. So a lot of money coming in on the Panthers.
What does that tell you?
Tells me that the fact that they are in game 1 on the road, a favorite, that Vegas doesn't think the Rangers have much of a chance. The wise guys don't anyway. Vegas thought that they could get away with making the Rangers slight home favorites. Right. No, friend. They think that tells you that they think the Panthers are significantly better, considering that this is a pick'em game on the road. One matchup in the WNBA tonight. I made the decision, Rob.
Bring the hate, baby.
I brought the hate. It bit me twice in a row. I'm getting back on board, and here's why. The Indiana Fever are 5.5-point dogs on the road at the Seattle Storm. Seattle is 1-3. The Fever are 0-4. And I was like, 1-3. Maybe I don't want to back Seattle. But then I looked at who they've lost to. They lost a home-and-home with the Minnesota Lynx, who are considered upper echelon. You named some players even. I don't know how you did that. Were you reading something, or did you just...
I was reading. I don't know.
I thought you said 2 names of girls that I've heard of, and I was like, whoa.
Some credit.
Rob is like all over this right now. But they lost 2 games to the Lynx, and then they lost at the Liberty. And we know the Liberty are really good. So maybe Seattle's better than the 1-3 record says they are. I'm gonna back Seattle -5.5. I'm laying the wood and laying it with my Caitlin hate once again.
Man, they're trotting out this show pony a lot.
Every other day.
A lot of
Every
Caitlin
other
Clark
day.
for the first couple of weeks. You gotta ride it while it's going. But
when she's 0-5, it's okay. We can still put her on TV. What happens when they're 0-12? Anybody still watching those games?
And when are we allowed to say maybe it's time to kind of maybe alter and maybe we're doing too much with this rookie? I mean, you might be. Are we allowed to say that yet?
Will she be all WNBA is the question. Will she be the defensive player of the year? I'm going to guess no.
Well,
Will she be runner up? I don't think so. Will she be all NBA? I'm going to go with no.
Not yet.
Not first team. She might make an.
I got to be honest. So far, only thing I'm taking to the bank today is the under on the.
I think I'm with you.
That's the only thing that I'm feeling really comfortable
I
with.
think I'm with you. Remember we talked yesterday about the baseball game, the Cubs game going under, and it did. Even in extra innings, still went under.
Big pitchers there. You got to go with that.
I got another under I think I like today. And this one's tough because this is a low number. There's 7s and 7.5s. So I would be cautious if you can get a 7.5. I think it's probably worth maybe all the way down to like minus 125. I'd like 7.5. But Detroit and Kansas City, Tarek Skubal and Cole Reagan's two of the better under pitchers going head to head, two lefties going head to head. Detroit at Kansas City, I like under 7.5. Lay a little juice there. As far as the Texas boys, Hunter Brown and the Astros, woof. Minus 185 against Tyler Anderson and the Angels.
Hey man, that's well earned money if you go there. I'll just put it there. If you get that one, that's well earned. Pat yourself on the back. I'm not touching that.
Total in that game is 9. I might like the over in that game because it's a Hunter Brown start, and those are usually good for plenty of runs. And in Philadelphia, Dane Dunning is going to go for the Rangers. Taijuan Walker pitching for the Phillies. Phillies minus 126 favorites against the Rangers. We mentioned yesterday the Phillies best team in baseball. So not really a knock on the Rangers that they're dogs here. It's just the Phillies are that damn good.
Over 4.5 score for the Phillies. You like that?
Against Dane Dunning?
Best
Yeah, I
team
could
in
see that.
baseball.
I could see that
too.
I kind of just like the minus 126. Down it opened to minus 138. So there's some Rangers support there. I don't know that I'd back it. I think I kind of like the Phillies to get the job done here. So, and all the winning streaks or all the losing streaks that I talked about the other day, they're all gone.
I didn't do you any favors yesterday.
No, they're all back to square one. So I don't even know who the longest losing streak is now, but it's nowhere close to enough to get to 11, which is the goal.
You got months, man. There's a team out there that sucks so badly. They just don't know it.
They just don't realize it yet.
The hot summer days.
And they're going to trade somebody off eventually too. And maybe it's the Rockies. Rockies lost 4 straight. Maybe they're my guys. All right. Congratulations, Samuel Clamp, for getting registered for ACL. You'll have more chances to do that on the Blitz this afternoon. Rob, appreciate you. Vic, appreciate you. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Some Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KT.